Thanks for laughing at me, Jeremy. Jeremy, did you try the weed?
He just said he was going to hit the streaming button.
You can't say weed on the dang on thing. I didn't curse.
What is it with the first 10 seconds? Him always in the first 10, 15 seconds says something. Well, people will just skim through this segment anyways, because they're just waiting for the real show.
At the end of the day, ain't nobody listening to this.
See, you're wrong. I have statistics that prove otherwise.
You think Whacker's gonna be mad because I said weed at the beginning?
No, there are people that watch it.
Am I coming in clear? I
went and checked the Apple Podcast statistics.
See, I don't know I don't use Apple.
And then plus the YouTube plays.
Oh yeah.
So those two combined, there's somebody watching, somebody listening. I don't know why.
What's up? I like it. Let's give them something to listen to.
Right. What's that?
Let's talk about this letter.
Oh, the letter. Okay, we could do that.
Unless Jeremy wants to talk about old Popeye episodes or some shit. I don't know.
Wait,
did we have a discussion about Popeye recently?
We did. I did bring up Popeye. I really did.
Wait, how did that get thrown on Jeremy then?
Because I'm just saying random stuff because I'm hungry.
Oh,
I didn't eat before I came today.
Is this going to be a hangry episode?
No, it's one of the episodes where it's like my blood sugar ain't right, so my brain is swimming in its own juices. And I'm like, some of the stuff I'm saying going to be completely off the wall. I have no idea what I'm talking about half the time. But it should be good for this.
Okay, as far as I can tell, just regular episode. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh, Joe, I like making fun of Dre.
I have no idea why I clicked on this.
Hey, if Jeremy said stuff, I'd make
Pizza Boss. It looks like a power saw, right?
Right.
It's just a pizza cutter.
It's a toddler finger remover.
Looks like a pizza. Looks like a power saw.
Oh, but it's just a.
It's just a pizza cutter.
Yeah, 100%.
I was a little confused. I was like, why would you cut a pizza with a power saw?
You thought you had to actually plug it in. Well, I don't even see the cord.
I mean, it says Pizza Boss, but this is gonna get messy.
What's the ad for that? What's that called?
It was Pizza Boss. I don't know.
Pizza Boss.
I am in Indiana. I'm going to. I'm about to go get some gas station pizza from Casey's.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't really ever get. I never feel the need for pizza when I'm stopping by a gas station.
Casey's? You ever had Casey's?
What, are you just shopping on Facebook Marketplace at the moment?
He's really I thought I was the random one. He's the one.
I am being completely random right now. I have no
now.
idea why. I'm looking at nothing. I'm not.
Did you record our pre-show thing on the How to Watch TV channel, or did you do it on yours? Because we always seem to do the first one on yours and then the second one on the How to Watch TV.
I think I did it on us. So let's do another one. We didn't really do shit.
Yeah, then we'll just go live.
Just do another one.
This shit.
Let's see what's happening. Sorry, people that's listening right now.
Well, this is a pre-show.
I was like, is that me?
He sounded like you a little bit. Had a little bit of that.
Jeremy's usual TikTok ad ranting.
Mid-Indiana twang in his voice.
Mid-Indiana.
I don't know if that's an actual twang, but...
Are we Northwest? Or are you more mid?
People talk about Midwest people like we from the South anyway.
People from Lowell talk like they're from the South.
Literally 7 minutes down the road.
Right.
And they talk like they're in the middle of Kentucky. It's really annoying. Sorry if you're from Lowell and you talk like that.
Sorry, not sorry.
We're going live right now. All right, fellas. Listen. All right, I'm going to steady the cam now. We're going to take a slow panning shot. We got Joel looking dour.
That's not a word.
That
nice
is
try.
Definitely a word.
Dour?
Yeah.
How are we spelling that?
However the hell you want to.
Dude,
Jeremy.
You guys are going to argue about grammar. I'm leaving. I'm coming back.
We're not arguing about grammar. He arguing about whether or not words are words. Listen, all words are words. If you say it, it's a
all
word.
Words are made up.
Significance. That's a word now?
Yeah,
what does that mean?
As long as you provide meaning to that word, it's a word.
But I just asked you for the spelling, and you wouldn't give me that.
I didn't want to spell.
So what's the meaning?
I don't want to spell. You look like something wrong with you.
But
like you're a little down, melancholy.
What did dour mean, though?
I don't know. That was the same. That was a synonym for that.
If you like this, check out the podcast.
we mentioned something.
It stopped.
God damn it.
It's perfect. It's perfect timing. Like Dre turns it around to respond, and it goes.
I can always just
How'd you
upload
spell
another.
dower? D-O-U? D-O-W? Dower.
Yeah, like dower.
Dower.
Yeah, like our.
Windows share for life of her husband's estate.
Really? That's a dowry. That's not dower. Fuck. Give a dowry to. Okay, well, it's the same, but that's not the one I was talking about. I said what the.
Does it say alternate definition?
I just
there?
wanted to see what it says. Give me. Right. I don't know.
No,
I typed in D.
I know you motherfuckers ain't looking into that damn dictionary to see if the
Looking
word
at
I just
the
told you
dower.
is a real fucking word is a word. I said it's a
Show
word, it's a
it.
goddamn
Prove it.
word. I don't have to prove it.
But
Fuck
you
yeah, I
said
don't
you
need-
needed a
I don't need-
definition.
I don't
If I made
need
up a word
any-
for superfluous.
Oh wait, are we past 30 seconds? Because I said F.
Yeah. Well, I'm 30 seconds into this video. I'm
Okay, so
recording
all
on my
right,
phone.
yeah, I did.
Yeah, so
So no. Listen, man. What I'm saying is,
we're getting that. We're just getting that energy building up here.
He's throwing out German words at you. It's a German word.
dower. I said like hour, did I not? I said
say
spell
it
it like
like-
hour.
You
You
didn't
said how do
say
you
that.
say how do you spell? You can run the tape back. You said how do you spell? I
He
said like
asked how you
hour.
spell it.
Yeah.
I know, but my response was like hour. Here's dower. What does it say? Stern, gloomy, in a matter of appearance. That's a word.
I was not.
No,
trying
I
to
want a
prove
fucking
you wrong.
apology, bro. Y'all just
All
you
I
just went
asked
to
was if it
Google
were a word.
definitions and typed in a word that I didn't even say and said I didn't implied that I didn't know a word.
No. I just asked if what the word was and how you spell it, so I could verify that it was a word. Because I like, honestly, when I hear things like that, I will usually.
I have
add
never
them
heard
to my
anyone use a word. I was
vocabulary.
honestly curious. That's all.
If the definition
turn
is good
can
enough-
you turn this cameras on now so I can give this cameras a significant look? Because I really needed to be known that if I say some shit, I mean it and I know what I'm talking about.
When you said it as if you almost said the word you were thinking of. Like the delivery was as such that it sounded like you stumbled over it a little bit. So I was like, "Oh, dower, huh?"
This
And-
sound like when like the police shoot an unarmed black guy in the back and motherfucker be like, "Well,
You
he didn't
feel-
put his
you feel
arm up
attacked.
fast enough," or some random ass shit.
I
Then
was
some white
just
kid go and
looking-
shoot 13
Honestly, I wanted
motherfuckers
to
and
know what it
show
meant.
up with his gun,
Again,
and then
If I hear
the
a word that I
police
don't
just
know what
like,
it
"Put your
means,
gun
I look it
down."
up.
His
And
requirement for believing a word wasn't made up
and
was giving
before-
the definition, which he didn't provide, or
I
give
don't
a
have to
spelling.
provide a definition to you just because you don't know something.
No,
How is that my
But
fault?
what I said was your
Am I bugging?
definition of the proof you need is for somebody else to tell you the definition. I said I made up a word too.
No,
and you
I
said
said
I need to
don't
know the
need-
definition.
What
of
I was
it.
saying was I don't need what is it called? I don't need approval from somebody else. I don't even need somebody to tell
It's
me.
not about
that-
approval. This is about information. We were just
It
trying to
is.
figure out if it was a real word.
Yeah,
or
but the
not.
information you needed was right there in the textbooks that you should have read when you was in school. Sorry, I knew dower and you didn't.
Wow, dude.
sorry.
That's the hill he's dying on. Dower is some snooty shit right there, huh?
Yeah.
You gotta be smart to know dower.
You guys are being very
Well, at least being
dour about this whole situation.
really dick.
That's the irony.
Maya's the one who breaks the tension. Me, like that's not usually what happens.
There's no tension
Usually-
here.
Why
I
would
usually
there be tension?
compound my
Because-
Right,
problems.
there's no fucking tension. I wouldn't even look. I wouldn't even.
I was trying to spell it. You said dour. My first spelling. I was like, I don't know.
Right,
what that
and
means,
that's
so
why-
let me look it up. DAUER is my first definition, and then you said.
And when I told you that when you read the definition, I told you that was dowry.
Then I was like,
and-
okay,
but then
then,
it was
let me try
related to dowry.
dour, like tower. So then you said spelled like hour, and I was like,
No,
oh,
I definitely said hour
that's-
before, but you just didn't hear
I
me.
didn't hear you say that.
Yeah, that must have been mixed in the
Yeah.
triple talking.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm gonna run it back and I'm gonna make a whole clip of this and put it on TikTok.
Well, damn,
That's a
that
very
makes me
dour.
feel like we should have, now I'm dour about not having recorded this.
We gonna
didn't record it?
rename this damn episode "Dower,"
Hmm.
but spell it 3 different ways.
It's the dour hour with how to watch
The
TV.
Dower
on
hour.
my
Like,
site.
how to watch
Dour,
TV.
wow. Dour.
Yeah, don't do that, Joe. That was terrible.
We can do it.
No, you kind of lost it there. You lost the plot, right?
Dower
When you was like
Wower.
the Dower Hour.
Dour, wower.
Dower Hour.
I hate all of this. Can we
Yeah.
move on, please?
He's not a fan. Wait, you're not a fan of manufactured drama?
Right.
Lame.
This is how to watch
TV.
Live from
Are
9
you
Mile
Am I
Studio.
gonna be the only one
What?
with headphones on today?
In the middle of the intro?
Sorry, go back to the intro. Start
Nah,
over.
let's
Play the
just-
song again.
Whatever, I'm Joel. Here's Jeremy.
It's like his shtick now. He just likes to speak during the start. Of the song. Anyway, I am Jeremy Vasitis.
This is Dre Brown.
Welcome to How to Watch TV. We are brought to you by Comeuppance Network and sponsored by 9 Mile Branding. Stickers, banners, decals, graphic design.
Feel that energy?
9milebranding.website. No, 9milebranding.com.
We should get that
Right,
too, just
right.
because.
You gotta switch it up
headed
just in
forward.
case.
.website.
That
9milebranding.com
website becomes
is
really
the virtual
popular, so
website.
everybody got to switch. It's like Amazon.website.
Yeah, everybody just hops onto the .website craze. We're just the early
the one.
adopters. How to watch TV.website, by the way. If you want to watch any of our previous podcasts, there's links to all of them on there.
And
And
today's episode is also sponsored by Google Dictionary and the word dower. Look it up. All right, let's go.
starting on a dour note, we are talking about the relatively dour
He's mad
Lexington
because
letter.
there's very rarely he gets grammar corrected.
No,
Yeah,
as I said, I like when people say words I've never heard before or use them in a context I've not heard before, because then you can add that to your
Add that
arsenal.
to your
I have-
lexicon,
yeah,
man.
I have no issue with
Don't
that.
use Arsenal. Use Lexicon. Arsenal don't
Arsenal.
sound good.
Why? Just because it's
I'm
Lexington
trying to
letter?
help you out. No, it's Lexicon.
Trying to
Let's use that as a
Lexington.
transition.
Dre has very specific thoughts on grammar.
I very much do.
Go on. Jeremy's like,
I
"No,
don't
please."
believe grammar should be a thing anymore in 2022. Grammar should not be a thing. It shouldn't be a determining factor of a person's worth. And I'm very defensive when talking about grammar.
My grammar isn't great, and I cuss a lot.
And he's one of the dopest people I know.
Right, but I feel like we all also know that in certain situations you just do the thing. Like,
What's the thing?
just playing the game. Like,
Oh, you
right
mean
now,
like-
we're playing like the most regular versions of ourselves for the sake of it.
Oh no, we just being ourselves at this point.
You're saying like when you like if you got like an office job when you go to like your
Yeah,
work, you
everybody's
like-
got to.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't like that anymore. I was in a professional setting and working in an office downtown, and my supervisor, my interviewer, first I would go back. The interviewer, super professional. Everybody had on suits. I was told, like my father-in-law used to work there with me, and he was one of the big bosses, department head, and all this stuff. And I remember one day in particular, I got on the elevator. I was proud to be working here. I thought I was doing a good thing. Like I'm following the
Got
footsteps.
in the elevator. He was
But
proud
no,
to work there.
Right.
Sounds
I
like
know
nerves.
There's a lot of parallels happening.
right. It's happening. It's
That's why we were just like going off tangent.
on
'cause it sounded
purpose. On
great.
purpose or not, it's beautiful. But no, I got on the elevator one morning and I saw my father-in-law on the elevator, and he was on the elevator with a whole bunch of guys, and they all had on suits and stuff. And it all, you know how you could feel like somebody kind of like, I don't like let people know I know you. It's my father-in-law, but it felt
Yeah,
like
when you're like,
Yeah.
you're
he
too.
felt like I wasn't dressed
you're
professionally
not high
enough.
status enough.
Right,
To be,
and he's in the elevator, and they going up to the executive floor. I'm going to the second floor, getting off on the second floor and going to my office. Well, not second floor, third floor. Going to my office. He's going up like past 16 somewhere. So
You like stopped. You gave him the.
I was like, hey, what's going on? And he was just like, oh, hey, what's going on? Real quiet, like, like don't let people know we know
your
each other.
father-in-law.
This is my father-in-law.
This is somebody I know casually. People.
Yeah,
Is what
and
he's
it-
saying to
and,
the people in the elevator.
Right. He's like, yeah, I met this young brother in the break room one day or something. So I went back. When I came back to work, I went and got button up shirt. I put on slacks. I had like dressy shoes. Didn't have on gym shoes no more. I went and got a leather coat with like the shoulder pads in it to look more. I'm not bullshit. Like
No, I know
y'all
what you
laughing.
mean.
I'm
No,
dead ass.
No, I'm not laughing at you. I'm
Because-
laughing at the shoulder pads. I remember
Why?
my
But
dad
be-
having a
but
jacket
in-
like that. I remember
but
my
in
mom
my-
having jackets like
In my mind,
padded shoulders and
this is how you're supposed to look. You got to play the role. You got to
Right.
play the part. You got to go in here. You got to, put on, as they say, put on your little monkey suit and dance to the organ grinder. I'm doing the thing that I felt like people wanted me to do in order to fit in this box. But then when
That's
I realized
sort of what I was meaning when I was
right,
saying
and that's
it
what I'm saying.
originally, yeah.
Well, you're doing the thing, and that's what I'm saying. That's exactly it. But
We all know
now-
how to do the thing, but there are people that don't know how to do the thing, and I think that's where grammar comes into play.
and that's what
for me.
But my whole thing was this: as I got older and understood more about life and see where the world is going, and I feel like all of that is bullshit. I feel like all of that bullshit only because the people who actually do the actual work. When I got in, when I met my supervisor's arms was covered in tattoos, all this other stuff. He was a motorcycle gang member.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel embarrassed even saying this dude's motorcycle gang name. But he told us to come to the motorcycle club to hang out with him and his brothers. And he said, just come to the door and ask for Manimal. And I'm like, I said, bro, I'm not calling no grown man Manimal. I'm probably just not going to come. You know what I'm saying? But, but the point was, you see the quality of people past what the preconceived notion of what society tell us we supposed to be in the box we supposed to fit in.
Right.
So sometimes, even if it's not intentional, it's a thing where it feels like we're the prisoners running our own prison, and we're telling each other how we supposed to talk and act. You know what I mean?
But I do have an actual standard of what I'm willing to deal with out of people. I think Tony Van Doring is at like the bottom level of that.
I don't know who that is.
The carpenter.
Please
Like,
don't get us.
of the type of conversations
Don't get
I'm
us
willing to
stabbed,
have
man.
with people.
Who is this guy? Is this guy dangerous?
Tony wouldn't give a shit.
I'm just saying, he said his whole name.
He's not listening to this.
No, he's definitely not listening to this, but I'll show it to him later.
Wow.
Like, he's probably at the bottom level of what I will tolerate from another person that I'm willing to talk to. You know what I mean? In terms of quality of speak. You know, because he'll say some stupid shit, but sometimes he comes out with some genius. You know what I mean? But below that, there is a level of talking to people that are just stupid that I'm not interested in.
Yeah, but see, and here's the beauty of the thing.
Tony's not stupid.
No,
That's what I was just about to say.
Exactly.
I don't even know
but
Tony,
he
but I
leans
was,
so hard into the stupid persona that it sometimes gets irritating.
But
He,
that's
he
what-
makes the same joke every time. You go, what are you up to? No good. You know what I mean? Oh, just hold
He's
it
like
till
the guy who
swelling
comes
goes
in
down.
like, what's for dinner, kids?
Hey, is there anything
Hey,
I can? Is there anything I can help you with? Hold this till the swelling goes down.
I mean, every time. So like I said, but there's people that are just that talk in a way that I think the showing that you can do the thing is what shows that you have enough intelligence to see that there's two versions of you.
That's classically what we go with, and that's what I was about to say.
Because people have proven me wrong on that
for
too.
For me, the beauty of the whole thing is recognizing that there's other forms of intelligence, and not for too many years in this country, and I think maybe the world, but I haven't traveled the world and asked enough people how they feel about it in their different societies. But in this country, we seem to equate intelligence with education. Because it's kind of like
There's some truth to that,
but
for sure.
but it's like while they're related
No, they're not one. It's not one to
slightly,
one.
but it's like your education doesn't make you more intelligent. It just makes you more knowledgeable. Sometimes you
Being
can
able
have
to
credentials.
communicate clearly, though, is important
It's a
either
must.
way. I think
It's a must, but being able to communicate is a two-way street. So the ability to understand somebody who doesn't communicate in your style would, for me,
I'm not saying not communicating my style. I'm saying
no,
literally
cut me out.
just
You
kind
don't kill
of.
my point. You don't kill my point. My point is, people should talk the way they feel comfortable talking, and if you make up a word, it's still a word. And the reason why I say this is, it's important because all words are made up.
Yeah.
Every single word is made up.
Oh, it's just got to stick.
They add new words to the dictionary all the
If,
time.
and, look, and I was just, and that was the point I was asking Joe before we actually went on air, was what does the dictionary, I was going to go to the dictionary and say the dictionary doesn't lend credibility to anything we create. There's no credibility to life that could be lent by other people. You create the world you want to live in. So if Joe decides to make up a word and he has a meaning for it, and it only means something to you, You impart that meaning to me by giving me that word and what it meant. And
Right.
now we
If-
both have
yeah,
it. We
if-
just created something.
Right.
We are creators.
Right.
We literally create things. We don't have to have somebody else's permission to tell us.
I'm not
what
sure
it
where
is.
that came from, but yeah, sure. Yeah, I got a bunch of little stupid ass catchphrases.
What happened?
He was just saying one of my
No, doing.
because I just do
Doing is one of his
D-U-I-N,
little-
doing bids.
D-U-I-N, doing.
Yeah.
I'm always
My
asking
uncle
the
Jeff.
birds what
My
they're
uncle
doing.
Jeff had a saying. I love him and I miss him. And he said, "I'm Jeff, and I'm gonna keep on Jeffing."
Okay.
He didn't have to explain it. We knew what it meant.
He's just gonna
It meant
keep on
ex-
being him. Yeah.
Exactly. It meant exactly what he meant. Right there in that moment, you knew exactly what he meant. And that's a clear communication without having to use societal norms. That's all I meant. But the good thing about that,
You can slip them in. I think honestly, I think you can slip them in
You gonna
casually.
keep going
But
back. I was trying to go to the show, but go ahead.
oh no, I was just saying you can slip them in. But if that's where
This
you
isn't
live,
unrelated to the show.
it's not. If that's where you live, you're not going to be able to do certain things. It's like I was surprised to hear you say people should just say whatever they want because, like, look at what's happened in the last few years. I mean, all those people absolutely do and say whatever you want because it's just going to let us know who you are.
But I didn't know. I said say. They add the do. People gonna do.
Well, you can say that, and that's
let's be
enough
real.
for
Let's
me.
be real. I don't want this show to get
You don't-
political.
You don't have to do to be racist. To me.
I don't want this show to become political. We don't want to go there. We don't want to sour the people's audience, the audience's impression of the show, or the people who presenting it to them. Because we three guys who like talking to each other. But
Seemingly.
I like talking to Jeremy. I'm starting to try to like to talk to Joel, but Joel's an asshole. Joel's the kind of person that challenges some points that don't need to be challenged.
It's taken me about 14 years.
Yeah, but here's the thing about Joel that he doesn't know about me yet. I'm also an asshole, and I'm up for the challenge.
What do you
so-
mean I don't know it yet?
No, you don't know how full of I'm like I'm waiting. It was like I told you. I don't. We said this on air before, Joel. You
My
getting married.
assholeness is harmless.
You getting married. I'm gonna show the full assholeness at Joel's wedding. We're gonna upload the video to How to Watch TV.
Dre carrying Joel on a chair.
Right. Right. It ends up being something really sweet. Like by the end,
Everybody
he,
like,
made
"What?"
me a shirt or something, and you know,
He's
it's
like Winston on New Girl. His pranks was either way too over the top or way under. It was like
Super subtle.
Right. It was like that was a prank. Like what the fuck? Anyway.
right. Yeah, you show up and it's just some random. You're just like, I brought you a card.
Got a card, but I gave him.
It's like Caden's favorite show.
New
Yeah,
Girl
I-
is
He
hilarious.
watches it over and over and over and over again.
I got through the first season or two of it, and I felt like I was forcing myself to get through it. I don't know why. There's just some disconnect
It
about
makes
that
me
show.
laugh.
There's a lot of shows that the premise is dependent on where you're at in your life, that whether
I
it
can
makes
give you
sense, where you can relate to it. Like something like Parks and Rec is kind of cool. You know what I mean? But something like New Girl was like, okay, we're talking about like early 20s people that are
Right,
single.
living as roommates.
It's not necessarily my bag. You know what I mean? Although I did enjoy How I Met Your Mother at the time. I don't know.
There was
that
like
I
a
go
married
back to
couple
it.
in there.
Right.
It was like like an
Right.
old. They were like the older couple.
Right.
Not.
So there's always stuff that's relatable, and like that one just
I
didn't
see
grab
it,
me.
But I feel it. But sometimes you got to take that dive and just watch that shit anyway.
I liked Happy
even-
Endings. That one was decent.
Happy endings.
You remember that one?
I'm not familiar with that.
It was like a group of friends, same kind of thing.
No. Okay.
I mean, it's friends.
I think the
and
last show
over
that I
again.
watched, well, let's not give credit to Friends. Friends stole their whole format from Living Single, but that's another story. Anyhow, listen,
We don't have much to talk about here, so
No,
that's
we're
what I'm
talking
about to. I'm
about
about
the
to.
Lexington letter.
I'm about to throw a subject out there, but I wanted to be like,
Well, like a smooth
if I
transition.
say
or something?
effusive, is he gonna ask me to spell it, and will we have to go?
No,
and look
again,
it up?
I only questioned it
I
because it
just
sounded like you went do or like it's almost sounded like you were gonna say one thing and then it just didn't come out right. That's the only reason I asked what it was, and
I
it became a
got you,
thing
I
because
got
you
you.
didn't just go it's
But no,
D-O-U-R.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I know. I literally, as a habit, I never spell things when people ask me because as I used to tell my wife,
Spelling
she
bee trauma.
No, she would get mad because I would tell her if I spell it right, would you know?
Yes, I have a
I'm
phone
a
in my
little bit.
hand.
I might have explained this before. I'm an asshole. If I spell something correctly, if I do math correctly for you in my head on the spot, By the time you pull out your calculator, you won't know if I'm right or wrong. You're not smart enough to keep up with me in conversation, so shut the fuck up and believe what I tell you. That's all.
Can you
That's
spell,
that's
can
how
you
my
spell
brain.
Mastacholi?
You know what I can't spell? Broccoli. And I eat a lot of broccoli, and every time I'm making my grocery list, I'm on Instacart, bro, and I misspell it every time. Every time, bro.
And then some of those words, like
It's
you're not
so
even in the
weird.
ball. You think you're in the ballpark, but it never suggests it. Mastacholi is ridiculous. I had to speak it into the phone.
like
'cause
Mastacholi.
Michelle sent it to me, and it
there's
was
an
like
extra I in there.
MOSTA space Choli. You know, like she was phonetically
space
writing
in
it out.
there?
No. She
was
was
about to
trying.
say-
When she spoke it in, it
Oh,
like
okay.
took the two words and separated them.
I was like, wait, what?
But yeah, it's like some crazy.
There
there's
was
so
one that
many
made
extra
me like,
C's.
what was I trying to spell? I was like, it almost made me throw my phone across the room. Like, you can't just fix it for me.
Yeah, I remember you.
It was
talking-
one fucking letter off.
Wait, listen, these
You
smart
can't tell what I'm trying to fucking say here.
Speaking of letters, we're going to talk about the Lexington.
The
letter.
Lexington letter.
That was a terrible segue.
No, that's a perfect segue
That's the
because you got really
point.
loud. You was right in the like the. I was
Now,
like,
I know, I felt the mic break.
try to
when I
keep
yelled.
in mind that.
This is how to watch TV.
I just want to play it again.
Okay.
don't use the soundboard in front of me no more because I don't
Why not?
understand why we don't have
I can put-
applause and stuff on
Because we don't.
Because
say
Jeremy
anything
don't
worth
want to be
applauding.
hacky. I want to
don't
be
wanna
hacky
be-
sometimes.
I don't want to.
Just give us one hacky
I
episode
don't
and
wa-
see if it's fun.
I don't want to be ESPN Radio or the
No, I wanna
or
be
Man
like-
Cow in the
Yeah,
morning.
that's what I was saying,
don't
one
wanna
of
be any
those-
that.
Like do.
Welcome to the Morning Madhouse.
Yeah, see, I'm just
with
not.
Joel, Jeremy, and Dre.
It's just it's one of those things.
I
you
gotta
can-
be way in the back for some reason because it's always like one motherfucker way off in the back.
Right.
And he talking like, yeah, I told you, but and they be like,
like they just don't allow him in the same
right.
studio.
It's
He's
like,
in a separate
it's
booth.
always the one person
And
way
he's
off in
standing
the
there
cut.
with like a mic or with like a music stand in front of him with his stuff
Yeah,
on. He
goddamn-
can't
Why
even
does he
get a
have to
seat.
stand
Yeah.
for the 4-hour radio show. What the fuck is?
It's
What did he
six
say?
do
in
it
the-
on
it's
every-
4 in
and
the
look,
morning.
Howard Stern
It's
did
4
it.
in the morning.
Howard
He isn't
Stern
here
did
to
it,
set his
and
coffee.
everybody-
Like he's just standing there
Everybody
holding
copies
shit.
formats. That's
Right.
literally what happens. Everybody's like, all right, we're going to have the two guys right here. We're going to have a lady right here. We're going to have a dude way the fuck back there yelling stuff from the back of the studio. Like, they do the same shit over and over again. But I just felt like we should do it because I think we could do it better.
I like the mention of like taking formats and formulas and just kind of running with them. I was watching a panel today about Severance, and the
Right.
creator said that he was working. I can't remember what he was doing as a job, but he was just like, I wish I could just fast forward through this 8 hours. And then like the idea sparked from there, and he wrote his original draft of the first episode in 2013 and was shopping it around for years until he came across Ben Stiller, who wanted to meet with him, and he's like, what? And then
Right.
then it took off from there.
I wonder if the thought crossed his mind, like, I don't want this to be like a comedy.
Yeah, I don't know. He just made it sound like, why would Ben okay.
I wonder
Right.
how close he came to giving up. I mean,
Well, there's no real rush,
I
I
think-
guess. You can keep honing the
but I don't
idea,
know what
but
know what I'm saying is I don't know
Who knows what
he
he
did
did.
in the meantime
Right.
between coming up with because first of all, it's a beautiful idea. I think we all can appreciate what it is.
I mean, I've definitely had that same exact thought, man. I wish I could fast forward through this. I wish I not have to be here. Like, you know what I mean?
I've never
right.
thought
Just
so.
let me skip to the end, and
I had
then
these, you know, the jobs, the shitty jobs.
Be in a job and you
Yeah,
just
that's
want to
what I
hurry up
mean.
and go home.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Not like complete.
Well, I've had
I
the
have
conversation.
The thought never went beyond that. Like this dude took that thought,
Right, and
it was
ran
just like,
with
wait
it.
a minute. Okay,
what would happen if you
what
did
would
that?
happen if you did that?
He said the questions that just spawned from that and
Like
spiraled.
that's a
yeah.
cool. What do you call a chain of thought?
Right.
Like that. That just and he was just like, holy shit, I gotta write this down. Like,
Right.
he just started
But then
writing it
how
all
do
down.
you even go from there to all the stuff that it's become? Like that's
Well,
the
you
part
meet
that
other
blows my
talented
mind.
people who help you hone.
Right.
People
maybe
who have
he's
written
just super
scripts or
creative.
written stories. First, you would go to somebody like a writer who writes like a story,
Right.
and then you would take it to a script writer, and that would like turn it into, you know, a script that actors and like a director would look at. Like there's
Right.
like a.
Yeah, I don't know if
It's not
I don't think he was
necessarily
a writer
a set in
before
stone
that.
process.
Hey, can
Like
see
that's
your
what I mean.
notes
Like
real
was this the
quick? I wanna
first thing
see
like,
if it's something in particular you got written down.
he ever wrote? Like you said, is this the first thing he ever wrote? Is that what you just asked?
Yeah, I don't know if this is the first thing he wrote,
I mean, 'cause
but
if
he
it
was.
is, that's kind of cool that the idea just came to him like that, and he just kind of spiraled it off because it's a like you said, a beautiful idea. It's dark and
Right.
And
Well, I mean, just exploring all of the ramifications of things that are. Dre's pre-reading my notes here.
even to
No,
find people
I'm trying
that,
to remember the name of the other company that was Lumen's.
I have it in here.
okay,
Was it beer?
No, it wasn't beer. It was.
so he wouldn't have. So like when he thought of this idea, there's no way he would have thought of the music. You know what I'm saying? Like right away. You know,
Yeah,
like,
that's
there was
probably somebody
he
they went
he
to a
wouldn't-
conductor
You know
and
what I'm saying? Like, and they play it for him. Like, oh yeah, that's
Corner
the sound right
therapeutics.
there. Because the music is perfect.
oh
in
yeah,
the show. Like,
I
you know what I'm saying?
like
Like so like that's a cool thing how one little idea like that from one person
spawns all the other parts of it that have to go with it. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you remember when we were in design school, and the first thing they did for us was define graphic design as taking a three-dimensional thought and transferring it to a two-dimensional surface, whether that be on paper or whatever media you use, but making that three-dimensional thought something real. And you have to. The idea was you take it from the customer's head, right? So the customer say they want something, and you have to be able to translate that thought. So you can imagine it's the same with making music and wardrobe and everything. Like if I come to you and be like, "All right, this is the mood I'm looking for,"
Yeah.
and then that guy's sitting there, his wheel starts spinning, and he
Right.
started making music that sound. And you listening to him in the studio, you're like, "Yeah, okay,
Then he did that.
all right, I like that. I like right." You know what I'm saying? He's like, "Yeah, I like that. That's it.
Yeah,
Right?
I like
That's
that.
it. You know what I'm
That's the
saying?"
one.
So yeah, I see the design process for all of it.
It's
I
really
can
cool.
See it all being the same, but it
Well,
feel like
shit. I'll just talk about that.
but it feel like
aspect.
everybody hit the
I mean, that's fine.
hit
the
this,
lumen neutrals that they said in the Lexington letter.
Now that I
The
didn't
lumen
understand.
neutrals, aka the dress code. They said no labels,
No
tags,
labels,
patterns, or words.
Nothing
So
related to the outside world.
And because the same reason as the beer thing. The perfect description of
She
her,
knew what beer
her
was,
innie.
but
She
she
knew what beer
didn't-
was, but couldn't name a specific brand.
That's a great.
So they can't come in with anything that represents a company.
Because it felt like any information would make them more human. And I
Right.
think this
So
Lexington
lumen
letter,
neutrals. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like just neutral stuff that.
and I think this Lexington letter, the overarching theme of it was that the any was becoming a little more of a well-rounded person.
Because she was learning
over
about the
time, she was
outside,
learning
yeah.
about the outside world and becoming a whole person.
So-
And
But
that's when they're
technically-
ready to get out, it seems like.
that person still exists.
Yes, but only at Lumen.
Or
until they turn on overtime protocol.
Right.
Which they
or
could do.
Well, actually,
is that person
oh, yeah.
awoken again?
We're talking before the end of it. Yeah, I would think.
Well, I'm just
before
gonna
she
go-
died. You know what I mean? It's like she
Well,
dies.
she
at the
the
end of
Audi
it.
died.
No,
Well, they both died. They had to have.
I would think that means the innie's dead too. Like in
No,
terms
I
of
know that.
offing
I'm
them
saying like
that.
I'm saying yeah. I'm saying that when she immediately leaves and she said effectively like saying goodbye to her friend or whatever.
Yeah,
She's
Peggy K can't be brought up again unless Lumen decides to do it, and
so you
only
don't
as
think,
long as
so,
she's
like, okay,
alive.
but I guess the question I was asking is,
Mhm.
to me, I don't know if that's a rule either. Like, do they take the chip out and put it in somebody else? How does that work? But that's a
They
whole.
didn't
other
I
take
thought,
Petey's
I thought
out.
they said they couldn't take the chip out
They did.
I
They
thought-
took Petey's out.
Well, they took Petey's out after he died.
after his funeral,
Right.
right?
The information was still there.
Right, when he got out of there, he left with the chip in his head.
What if they? But what if they?
Yeah,
I don't want to go into too much speculation. I need to see the second season. They need to start this shit early because
It's probably-
it's,
yeah, they
it's
said
a
it's-
couple of questions there. That it's like, what if there's a possibility that Petey comes back? Because the thing we discussed in the other episode,
You mean Chip Petey, like Sevy Petey?
it would have to be a Severance Petey. But my assumption would be that they backed up the entirety of the person, because we talked about this in a previous episode of ours when we talked about the main character Mark's wife. Somebody would have had to see this chick's funeral. Somebody would have had to have known, like when she supposedly died, and that's
she
why
already severed.
that could be a thing.
No.
But what I'm saying is the
I
fact
think that about Cobell.
we saw her, we saw that his sister knew about. We knew Rick knew about his wife dying. You know, like people know his wife died.
They worked at the university.
Somebody would have attended a funeral, went to identify the body or something. You know what I'm saying? Like can they resurrect people? Is this what the technology is about ultimately?
I think it is going to
Could
have something
be.
to do with that, or people like living eternally by uploading. This is like the kind of uploading
Revolving
consciousness.
thing. Yeah.
Like you're uploading your consciousness to a.
So that video we were watching, the guy was saying that he thinks the board is the revolving past Egans that have been in
Right.
charge, and that somehow they're, biomechanically staying alive or
I
some
don't
shit.
want to say nothing. I
I think it's
feel
the
like
chip.
somebody
They're just
said
putting a
that
chip
on this
into
show.
a dead body.
Yeah.
I think somebody said that on this show in specificity. Maybe one episode back. I might have the archives on that, but I think we came up with that idea
What's that?
that all of them was the same person. And remember, we was talking about possibly.
No, I'm not saying they're all the same person. I think what I took from what he was saying was that all of them
Are still alive
create the
individually.
board. Yeah, like
And they're the board.
they're the collective that is the
Okay.
board.
Oh,
Which
Which would be
so
weird.
maybe that's
that they
what
would
the
be old
dad
as hell.
revolving was talking about. Like when he was saying, "You sit there with me at my revolving." Maybe that means him getting put into something that makes him part of the board collective. I don't know. Just
Maybe-
a
so
thought.
maybe the collective or the board isn't actual. Oh, here you go. Isn't actual physical people.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
I was,
just their chips all fucking
Inside
plugged
something that
into
lets
a
them
computer
talk.
on the table that lets them interact.
Uh-huh. Like a biointerface kind of thing.
so
Yeah.
you gotta. So okay. So right
'Cause
now.
it was like, yes.
So
So
now
mechanical.
in the theories right now
Mm-hmm.
that we just discussed, this is a mixture between upload from Amazon Prime. I don't know if he did, and then re-uploading it or downloading it to a physical body for resurrection. That's literally the premise. But you talking about a completely that's the Matrix.
Yeah,
Wait,
but
what
no,
are we
I'm not
talking
saying
about
that
here?
like we're
The
going
virtual, the
you know.
board being a virtual.
Oh, the
Yes,
part.
but I'm not saying that like if you went and they had their own physical space that they could put sunglasses on and shit. Like that's not what it is. They're just like these chips that they can talk, but there is no.
I wouldn't want to be
There is no
conscious without
in-
space.
That's
That'd
what I'm
be
saying.
weird.
Like I don't think it. I think it's not a like a paradise existence. You know what I mean? Where you live and
Oh,
you
yeah.
get to create the matrix around you. This is just a thing where they're in darkness and they can only perceive the voices and
Right.
It's not a pleasant situation that they're in.
Yeah, I wouldn't
I'm
want
saying
to
like
be
yeah,
there.
we're gonna see that they're all plugged into the same type of technology that we see on the show. I'm holding my hands up like a wizard. What am I
Right.
doing?
He did just
All right,
try
what
to
am I
put a
doing?
spell on
yeah.
Joe. Like,
But you know what I mean? Like the
I
same
have a
like,
curse now?
like their Dharma looking screens and stuff like that. You'd see
yeah, but
like
why
a
would you
system
put
where they're all
yourself in
plugged-
hell?
But they're
But I'm
thinking
saying
they're
that-
extending their life. What if it's like just the next step up from Walt
I think-
Disney cryogenically freezing himself kind of thing?
That's totally true, by the way. I've been there. I don't know if that's true.
Oh, well, I'm just saying the idea of that, of somebody cryogenically
He's
freezing
in the-
themselves.
He's the
is-
very tip of the castle.
Right. Yeah, just right up there at the top.
The penis castle.
It's hard to keep them frozen. The weather is awful.
Oh wait, you guys don't get that reference. But anyway, listen. Yeah, I think that's a
Do
possibility.
we think that we were talking about backing up a full person. Do we think that they're backing up for, let's take Mark, for example. Do we think that on Mark's chip that it's, do we think that they have the copy of Audi Mark?
they have to? Because they have to be able to shut him down in order.
But
for
or
him
is
to
the
do his
thing
work.
literally just inserting something and cutting off that part
Not
of the brain,
necessarily though, because
depriving him access to that
we
aspect
discussed
of his memories
We discussed not necessarily this is factoring thing, but we discussed
that we've seen?
that
We don't know
live.
we don't know what Gemma, for example. We don't know that there is no Audi. We just know that we haven't seen it yet. Like I want to make no assumptions in terms of like when we're stating facts like that. We
I
don't.
just said, I
necess-
said
yeah,
before I started
exactly.
talking that it wasn't like I knew anything. This is just this is all speculation.
Exactly. We don't know
We are
that there
all speaking in
that there is no
that's
Audi
the fun
for
part
her.
of this episode
but-
was just kind of discussing as a whole and just
I wasn't even speculating. I was just no. I'm fucking with you. I'm definitely speculating.
I think it all is at this
Mm-hmm.
point, right? There are very, very few rules or facts that we really know holds
right.
that are 100% true.
Yeah, because
right?
even the
Everything
assertions
else is
that
up
they
for-
make
up
about
for
the
discussion or
technology has been
speculation.
kind of proven wrong
We don't
by
right.
the world itself.
And it's just
Being able to
it's
reintegrate.
just propaganda that they've been telling the innie keep them subdued
Right.
and doing their jobs.
But they're getting memories and stuff like that filtered out, like the beer, the America,
That's
all that
like the
stuff.
most interesting part of the whole show is like
But
the
that's the most
memory
interesting
filtration.
part of the damn letter.
Yes.
Because the Lexington letter starts out, well, it doesn't
Well,
start
they were
out
talking
with
it started with the journalists using the first name and abbreviation for last name
Yeah,
thing,
but
which
I'm
is
saying
what we are. Well, I'm bringing it to a point you brought up out there, which is that
Oh yeah,
that does that
This shit
imply
is
that
further, yeah.
it's that the scope of severed people is out a bit.
right.
We see at the end that the guy's last Milchick, Jim Milchick. So does
It
that
could've
mean
been
it's his
brother,
dad or
his
his brother?
dad, uncle, somebody.
I'm leaning towards brother because of a couple other clues. Jeremy pointed out they have social media at this point, so it can't. So it can't be so far back. It can't be so far back that like it's Milchick's dad, but or that he used to be. But the fact that he said I have a contact at there that I trust, that would have been his brother
See,
potentially.
but I'm always
or
thinking
his
on the
son,
same
it
page.
could have
I'm always
been.
thinking on the same page as like some of the more out there as kookier ideas. I'm thinking maybe Milchick is the same guy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
because we don't know. We don't know.
Maybe
Right. Same point. We don't know. We don't
We
know.
don't
know.
just don't know.
maybe. Okay, I don't really know how to articulate this, so
Go ahead. We're with you
Here-
here. We'll help
here-
you get to it.
hear me through. So, like he's saying, the scope just keeps broadening. So, perhaps, why can't I think of it? Cobell's whole existence, the whole thing where she's inside of this whole thing where she's his neighbor, Mrs. Selvig, and thing like maybe there is a whole other severed her.
I'm saying
That
that
live
what
separately.
my thought is that she is severed, and we're just seeing the innie. Like they could just
That's
turn
what I
off
mean.
the Audi.
Oh,
They
okay.
could just permanently turn off the
Selvig-
Audi and now
but
have
what about so Mrs. Selvig is just a thing she's making up as the innie.
as the innie.
So there's a whole other Audi.
or-
That's kind of what I'm saying. Like
Because she
this is-
this whole the girls' school and all that stuff. So she probably thinks she's an Egan, or maybe she is an Egan. But I think that it's her
or
innie.
like an Egan like love child.
Right, like
You know, like a
yeah.
not a pure blood per se, but she was
right. But she's trying to prove her worth.
Right.
The Ramsey
She's
Bolt,
one of
the
their
Jon
daughters
Snow-
that he
she's
had
the
out of,
Jon
like-
Snow or the,
Ramsey
so-
Snow.
Yeah, well, at this point, you know what, we got to go with Ramsey because Jon Snow was proven to be a pure blood for his actual.
Right.
But anyway, that's another
Yeah.
story. Spoiler alert for Game of Thrones if you haven't watched that show. It wasn't that big of a hit, so I know a lot of people haven't caught up with it. But no, the other point I was making was that besides the people being severed and it having a broader scope than just the people who voluntarily go in here to work every day. The other thing I was thinking was expanding on what he was saying about the board and what you were saying, the board trying to extend their life
Right.
virtually, re-uploading the new bodies or whatever. That's what I was thinking with the Milchick thing. We don't know how
I'm
long
not
some of
even
these
saying
people
that
have
it's
been around.
virtual though. I'm not. See, when you say virtual, say I would take a
You
chip
thinking
out,
about virtual
like, when
reality?
you plug
but-
your head and you plug in this machine and there's some sort of reality inside of the machine. I'm saying there's nothing but darkness.
Yeah, I know, and that's
then when
weird
they put
to
their
me. Why would you
the-
pick that?
It's
I
just
know.
like you
I'm
wake
saying
up,
maybe
but
they
your
didn't
eyes
know,
are
but
closed.
I'm saying, but that more
That's
fits
the best they
show
could
to
do.
me. That they plug it. Yes, they plug that little
They're
speaker
working on it,
in,
I think.
and then all of a sudden they can hear all the voices in the room. They fully understand what's happening and are aware of the situation and can remember everything. They're not, like.
But they just don't
But
have a
they just
physical.
don't
So
have
they're
a physical
basically
presence.
digital ghosts, and
Or
that's
they're just
creepy
waiting,
as
or
shit.
they're just waiting to
like
find
backing
the
'em
right
up.
candidate of Egan blood.
So then they
to
like
be
digital ghosts.
uploaded
That's
into
really
somebody
weird.
else or a dead body. I think like there's like
It's upload.
consciousness moving it.
Think of it exactly as that.
Yeah, but
It's-
upload. When there's upload, there's a virtual space you exist in. You go to this.
No, I'm
resort.
saying in terms of the backing up a personality. Like he was
Right.
saying it like it
I
was
do think
super
it's-
weird to have
I do
digital
think it's
ghosts,
the
but
whole
like that's
person.
the idea, right?
I do think it's the whole person. It's not the innie or the outie. But you have to have both, or it doesn't work.
For
Yeah,
what?
I
For
think
the-
that's-
Per se,
Oh,
I'm not giving you rules. I'm just
no,
giving
no.
you
For the
speculation.
I'm trying to clarify for the Egan backups. You're saying like
Anything,
the,
like
I
any
think all of them
like
are-
the chip.
they
Like,
backing
like
up
you
all
asked
of the
about Mark.
people.
If they backed up Mark, it's both because I mean, even unbeknownst to them, it's both because you have to have both for the severance thing to work.
Okay.
They can put either or to sleep at any time because, like you said,
Well, they can.
you know that the outie goes to sleep when the innie's at work, so potentially the innie could stay, in and go missing or be presumed dead in a car accident
Right. Yeah.
and could have already been working there.
Right. 3 car accidents meant. I mean, 2 in the Lexington letter. 1 at the beginning of it, and then 1 at the end.
What
when
was the
Peggy
first
died.
car accident?
The first car accident, shit, I can't remember offhand. We were watching through it, and I've seen it like 2 or 3 times now.
What you talking
Reading through
about?
it, but they were
You're not talking about in the letter. You're talking about in the show.
I'm talking about in the letter. I'm talking about 1 in the show with Gemma, but in the letter, it was crashing the bus,
Right.
and then it was her dying in a car crash.
No, it was 3 in a car crash. The second one, well, it wasn't a car crash. They exploded a truck, so I guess that's technically
right,
not
yeah.
a crash.
So that's a point I wanted to reach too. I'm glad he brought it up. The exploding truck. So if that's a consequence of the
Refining?
that's a lot less interesting to me than what we were talking about at the refining the memories, and they're actually filtering. They're doing the memory filtration that we're talking about.
I feel like a logical leap was made there within the story, but I don't think that that's what it is. I don't think that they're.
You mean like in the Lexington letter? Like
Yeah.
that would lead you to believe
She
that
was like, "Oh my
she
god,"
was
and that's a
assuming that.
competitor of them, and that's
Fine.
she's connecting dots that don't necessarily. I mean, they exist,
right?
but
Because I like
and
our
there could
version
be.
a lot better.
I do prefer them refining out the stuff. They're filtering
The memories out.
future.
Right. Taking the map of the United States, but not the existence of the United States. Like those, like that's what it takes to like go through and filter the. I'm really movie. I don't know.
Also remember
today.
that the letters do. I mean, the numbers or letters or whatever they were refining, they do evoke an emotional reaction.
That's what
in
I'm-
a person. So even though.
Exactly.
Which again leads us down that Mark.
Even though you might
freshman
not
fluke
personally
thing.
like the idea of them doing corporate espionage via unwitting
Like people doing it,
participants
yeah.
and stuff doing it, it still leads it to there's something else to it, because why would you have an emotional reaction to a grouping of figures?
That's what I'm totally agreeing with you.
I'm sorry. I finally remembered.
It was just filling.
I've been sitting here filling my time trying to remember what the point I was.
read.
We talked about how they have this they gaslight people, and they have a certain way of telling people that things work and things are this way, and that's just what it is, but that's not necessarily true, and that's proven out throughout the world of the TV show. But peep this, when you look at the Lexington letter, they supposed to be completely separate. You're innie, you're outie. She remembered a very specific detail about her life and reached out to her outie. She remembered a language that her and her
Right.
sister created as children. That's a specific detail. She didn't know that she
But
created
if
it.
they're trying to
She
filter
don't know
them
that
out,
but
Maybe
hear what
somebody
I'm saying.
missed that
they
because
wouldn't
it
know
was
to
so
look for
obscure.
it. Yeah.
Well, that's my point. But she remembered something very specific for that, and they don't provide an explanation. You provided it now with your commentary, but what I'm saying is they seem to be learning also on the go.
Because she said it was
You understand
coming
what I'm
to
saying?
her over time, over the last
She
couple
was
weeks.
writing
said.
it over and over.
They missed that while they were doing their macro.
That's what
data
I'm
refinement.
thinking.
I was also saying, if there's a macro data refinement,
Mm-hmm.
is there a micro data refinement that extra refines and like goes through and gets those fine details out, and somehow they missed that?
Because
Or
macro, there's
maybe
4
this
bins
is the
as
reason
far as we know.
This is like the Lexington letter will be the reason for
That
the
seems pretty
creation
broad.
of the micro data refinement, because somebody missed the publish detail.
Yeah, but that's my whole
know?
thing. Is like you have
That's something
you have
nobody else
something-
would know.
Yeah, but when you have something like that, she's not a wholly unique person, is what I'm saying. She's not a unicorn. Everybody has things that's specific to them, things that they remember from childhood, things that they might have done special with family members or something like that. And for that to be able to make its way through in detail where it was perfectly remembered, because she had to have perfectly remembered it for the. The one on the inside remembered it.
Yeah,
perfect.
no, it was not
So-
completely not filtered out.
Yeah,
if
so that's
an
no.
idea
I'm
that
not
we're
even
going
worried
with,
about
yeah.
the filter. I'm worried about the fact that the chick literally remembers this whole shit. And what I'm saying is, that was something that I said they implied in the show. With people, when we talked about with people hearing voices, hearing certain sounds, like a baby crying or some shit like
Right.
that. But they've made it explicit at this point. You know what I mean?
It made what explicit?
that they can remember things from their actual life.
I would think that's why from
they
the first
retain
episode
those
they were
memories.
they were testing them with the
Right.
Ian's breakfast thing.
Yeah,
because
no.
They probably
I
have
know
seen
that part, but what I'm saying is the fact is they do remember it.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
can't-
The
the process doesn't
checking
actually
because
work
I think
fully.
they've learned that over time they do start to some of the stuff starts to bleed across.
Bleed across.
Which
and
is-
in
I-
like
yeah.
because like their macro data refinement isn't perfect. Like like I said, those numbers are feeling like emotional. Emotion are almost the complete opposite of math.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In a way. In a manner of speaking.
Yeah, what's the opposite of math? Emotions. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like math is so finite. It is what it is.
There
There's
is
one
an
answer.
answer.
That's it. Emotions, you can't explain those things. So like those two things actually don't mix together. So like them looking for numbers that make them feel emotions is
Right.
kind of a weird thing in and of itself.
And they said
But, like,
the
These
angry
guys
ones.
never counted votes in
They said
the
the-
United States presidential elections.
They called the angry numbers. The angry numbers were called NA.
I thought he said MA, but whatever it is.
Angry
what is
numbers
that?
I
Or
just
the-
figured that meant not applicable. Like they don't want any anger in the innies.
I could have swore I heard.
It might be MA, but that's
Let me
what
go
I
right back
thought
and
I
read it.
heard.
Let me see.
Yeah, I wasn't. That wasn't from the reading.
Can you see my
that
phone?
was from the watch
Can you see
or
my
from the
phone?
listening
Yeah, I'm trying
version.
to print it. Yeah, I got a phone in my hand. America.
Why does that matter?
I know. I'm just like America. This is what we
Yeah,
do.
she said they throb in emotion at you.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, so I genuinely
The
think
numbers, that's how she
yeah.
said the numbers make you like they throb in emotion. So all of a sudden you're like searching, and you're like, oh, happy,
right.
and you know where to put that, and then you're like, oh, sad,
I think that
oh, scary.
Severance in general is like your pool is leaking, and you're constantly trying to cover all the little patch up the holes, and
think
which
they're
would
doing it
fall
to
into play.
themselves?
Which would no, I'm well maybe, but I was thinking like specifically with the Peggy thing that slipped through, and then now they know. So like from now on, they're doing the test with Helly when she comes in and making sure she's not remembering shit right away. And like they know they're still remembering stuff like with Irv falling asleep. Like they know stuff is bleeding back and forth, and they keep trying to plug those holes from
Right.
leaking. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
so it's an ever evolving thing where they haven't nailed it exactly yet. So like shit like that to me makes sense that it would slip through. It's so specific.
It's so specific
and
to
like
those two
so
people.
out of the ordinary. Like, well, it's not really like is it a language, you know? And would they wipe out a language if they spoke French? You know what I mean? And they knew that too. Would they wipe that out and put them English or
Right. Well, it was just like because what they did was just replaced every letter with a symbol.
right?
So they weren't like written words. They were just like little pictures, little drawings of dumb things that meant A or B or so.
Right.
It was just they were writing words with these dumb symbols, you know, like so it was just wasn't easily detected, you know what I mean? Like by the symbol detector or
I mean, it
anything.
was a 1-to-1 code.
I know. So,
You know what I
so
mean?
which she even said in the letter that it wasn't that complicated. It was just symbols for things. But you're surfing through an emotional thing. If you're the macro data refiner that was looking for that, you could have missed it. Is
I
kind
feel
of
like
what I'm
I
just
see
feel
what you're
like
saying,
I
yeah.
feel like you shouldn't have missed it, but that's only because this is not the same universe, obviously. But I feel like having watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, I feel like when you go into a brain to try to tap out specific emotions, when you map in the brain like that, I feel like that she made that language up with her sister. She's not supposed to remember her sister at all. I feel like that would have been a part of the same package. You know what I mean?
What package? Like
The package of I'm
removing
going
the
in and
sister?
removing this.
removing the
It
sister.
should all of that should have been gone. Like she's not gonna remember the smell of her mother's perfume, right?
right?
So in the same way, she's not gonna remember her mother. That means her mother's clothes, her mother's perfume, the type of TV shows she used to watch, the type of songs she sung to her when she was going to sleep.
But I think to your
All of
point,
that's gone.
you're making a list, and they probably have one that they've now added made up languages.
I know,
to.
but what I'm saying is, I feel like that's an oversight in the writing. Not so much. I'm not giving the.
But this
I'm not
happened
giving the
before
show
what
I'm
we're
not-
doing.
No.
What
Listen
we're
what I'm
seeing.
saying. I'm saying that I'm not giving the show the credit of being
Of like the tech
watertight
evolving and all that
No,
stuff.
I'm saying I'm not giving the. It's not a watertight thing. People make mistakes. I think that's an oversight in the writing of the show. I know why. The purpose of the Lexington letter is to add more lore to the universe and get people more interested in it and give you a little insight as to what might possibly be going on in the show ultimately.
And they are
But that's
canon, though.
And they're canon. But what I'm saying, to me, that's an oversight because if you're removing the sister, everything involved with the sister would have been removed. That's all. I feel like that's. But will
like
we
that's
let
more
that
like-
type of stuff go because the overall
I don't
quality
feel like
is
it's an oversight. I feel like what he's saying is like the tech is ever, like he said, they didn't know.
They hadn't thought of that
They didn't
before.
know to look for that.
You don't have to look for that in specificity. Is my point. You're looking for.
Well, but they're finding out they did have to. Is what we're guessing at here. That in theory,
I just don't see how the two would be separated. Like things that me and my sister did,
Because
and once you remove the
because they're-
in
sister,
my mind, you are
because they're
Lumen
not-
right now. You're saying exactly what they're saying.
Because they're
I
not
can't find
looking.
a section of that letter.
Because they're not looking at specific numbers. They're combing through numbers that make them feel a certain way. They're not looking at this lady's memories. Like
So you going under you still going under the auspices of these people that work in macro data refinement
are
the
refining.
people
Yes, that's the
refining
whole
other
theory that
people who
I'm
did-
discussing.
Okay,
yes.
so that in that
That's the
regard
whole-
that
that's
makes
the
sense.
whole, yeah, that's all.
In that regard, right? In that regard, that makes sense. But I was just
I guess I keep referring to that as if that's the way it is because I like that's.
no,
I
it
like
makes
that
sense
theory.
though. But that's what I'm saying. With that though, in that context, that
I'm
makes
saying
more
they're
sense.
missing it, right? Like
You would definitely
now. So since the Peggy K situation, they know to look for that certain thing or know how to that looks in the data.
I like it. I was trying to see if I could find that thing where
Yeah,
they were talking about
I'm
it.
trying to read it. It's too. I'm like, I don't want to have to blow this up. I should have had a tablet or a laptop sitting in here. That would have made way more sense.
Okay, so it does say MA. So I was just thinking it said NA.
Yeah,
and it
but
was,
what
like,
does
not
MA
applicable.
stand for? That's what I wanted to ask.
The angry ones, MA. I don't know. Because it feels like that's the kind of stuff they would want to, and I keep using the term filter out, but like that's just how my brain is processing all of what's happening. It feels like there's the outie, the full person, and then we're getting the kid version inside because they filtered out all that shit. And
Hey, if my
sometimes
wife
they're
is one
missing
of the
or
people
not.
watching this, I'm gonna be home a little later than I said. Sorry.
Why did you tell her a specific time?
Yeah, I gave her a specific time, and I just looked at the clock, but it's fine. Sorry. I know she's not watching, so she doesn't like.
My wife's not watching either.
She doesn't like me that
No,
much.
Michelle's definitely not watching.
Right.
Let's see. What else can we talk about with this? The place was in Topeka, Kansas, so we know that Lumen is outside of Prince Edward Island.
Topeka, Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Cold, Kansas. Anaconda malt liquor. Black Dynamite. It's a Black Dynamite reference. I know, like, maybe 5 people gonna get that one, but it's funny.
No, but I appreciate you bringing it up because, as Jeremy pointed out in the Lexington letter, they referenced Baby Driver, which was
It's a
as
real
you
world
said,
thing.
Well, like yeah, it was like the only reference so far as that I can remember to like a specific pop.
Does anybody remember a
a
pop culture reference happening?
that exists in our world that we would.
Yeah, so they kind of placed this universe in the real world with that, and they also made
did.
mention of cell phones. Which
Well, he
I
had a
don't
laptop.
remember.
I remember him looking. He was looking at the birthing cabins on a laptop. So there was definitely, and he had a cell phone
Yeah,
he
he
was
did.
talking
Okay.
on in the car.
But okay. I might be crossing over mentally with
From I told you I brought that up on the subreddit and nobody bit. I said ignoring anything. I mean, no speculation involved. Is there anything we've seen involving cell phones or discussion of cell phones? And then people just go, well, they wouldn't get signal anyway. And I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. You don't want to have that conversation.
Not
That's
an
fine.
answer to the
That's
question.
right. That doesn't.
I clearly,
Yeah, but to be fair
that
though,
part out
I've
as
been
an
on
option.
Reddit and on a lot of different forums on Reddit, and
No,
Let's
but every
just
once
say.
in a while you get a little piece of
Sometimes,
genius in there that connects.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
With some.
Well, yeah,
it's
that's
like,
everything.
eesh.
That's news. That's literally everything. You got to filter and find the good
But
shit.
no, yeah, I like the idea of this company using them for espionage and
Oh, so
murder.
you like that thing?
I actually like it.
I
Jeremy
don't buy it
wasn't
at
so
all.
keen on it. He feel like it's a red herring. But I feel
Well,
like
I definitely feel that.
I kind of like it. I like the idea because for me it's fascinating for one reason and
But
one
is
reason
that what you
alone.
want the answer to be?
I don't have a want for what the answer could
Really?
be. No.
You don't have a one to. You don't have any sort
No.
of thoughts or
have-
feelings on what the numbers end up being.
Nope.
Because if they came in and said
I
they were
want them-
meaningless, that wouldn't bother you.
No, I want them to tell me a good story. What if they, because of the refinement process, or not the refinement, because that makes my what I'm gonna say kind of confusing, but maybe because of the severance process, what they're seeing as numbers and letters on the screen that they're refining is actual orders. They just don't know how to read it correctly, which would make no fucking sense based on the letter that she was able to write in English and send out to Peg. But I'm just spitballing it,
Right.
speculating. What if what they see is not what's actually there? It would kind of explain what they saw in the other departments, like the dude with the goat in that closet. Like, what if that's not
There's going to
actually
be a
what's,
reason for that.
you would hope, but what I'm saying is, what if that's not actually what was there? That's not what they actually saw. That's just what they thought they saw.
I would feel
Because
as
they
a
brain
viewer betrayed that you're showing me stuff that isn't there.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I
Without-
told you before. This is like he said, his theory is based solely on the fact that he thinks that his first theory is right. So he moves forward in the theory that his first assertion was right. And what I'm saying is, to me, this is all an allegory of the cave in reverse. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're seeing the outside world, and then we're going into the inside and seeing what it looks like to them
Right.
in reverse. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think some of the
Doesn't-
stuff.
Haven't they had people standing over their shoulder talking about the numbers?
Yeah,
Like,
don't matter.
wasn't
What I'm saying
Milchick
is,
there?
what if what they seeing is not what they think they seeing? That's all I'm saying.
I would assume that's the case because they're feeling things about the numbers.
Yeah,
It can't actually just
because
be numbers.
what I'm saying is, if you sever off this part of the brain, right? I'm just a real quick example because I could be 100% wrong, but I think it's a dope idea. You sever off this part of the brain. You don't mind if I hold this for a second? You take these two phones right here in front of my face.
But they start as one phone.
What I'm saying is, this is two sides of my brain. I can read both of them right now because I'm not severed. If you write this in one language that the left side understands, this one is a language that only the right side understands. You take me and sever me in half. They both say the same thing, just in two different languages. I can have an emotional reaction to something I'm seeing on the phone and not really know what it is that I'm reading because I can read it and it's in me, is inherent in my person.
Similar to
that I can read it.
You know what beer is.
I
but
know
not a
exactly
brand
what it is, but
kinda
they don't
thing.
know why they have an emotional reaction. They know what they looking at. They can in their body, in their brain, there's the ability. Like if an Audi walked in and somehow got down there unfiltered, the switch didn't happen, and they looked at those same numbers. What I'm saying is they will see actual. This is this. This is this. It's not numbers and shit no more. Now they looking at it and they can see actual words and things that they like. Holy shit! What the fuck they got us doing? You know what I'm saying? Like it's.
So the numbers would appear on the screen different to them than they do.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And that would be a dope way to filter out, and that would
to filter out what?
filter out their ability to know what they doing at work. And then what's even better about that is, it would also be an explanation as to why they have an emotional reaction to some. They might be reading a goddamn joke. It could be a company email that's private or some shit, and they read a joke, but they see it as them filtering and shit, and they're like, that number felt good. They might have been looking at a birthday party picture or something. You don't know. That's all I'm saying. I think that's it's dope places that the show can go, and it's a lot of explanations they can have. But so far,
Do you think they already know?
who
The creator.
the creators? I hope not.
He said that they have an ending, and it can go anywhere from like 3 to 6 seasons, or 2 to 6 seasons.
Okay.
But
This
yeah,
all came from that panel that you watched?
Yes.
I hope they don't have an ending yet, and I hope they just they somehow come across this episode of our podcast and they steal my idea.
Well, they probably have an ending in relation to specific characters, like
Oh yeah, that
because
that
the
type of
problem
stuff.
the problem with the show in terms of like rooting for somebody is you almost want Mark to get away, but if he does, we lose Mark S. Which is
be
what
fair, I don't like
Peggy's
Mark
talking
S.
about in
Right.
this. Like
Right.
she loses that
Do you
part of
buy into that?
herself. What?
That other person theory.
What do you mean? The other
The
person
way that
theory.
the way that they wrote the Lexington letter and the way that they trying to present this whole thing is that this is another person. The whole idea of Helly, even being a member of the board or being one of the big bosses or whatever, and deciding to go down into Lumen and be the poster child for this process of severance, is that these aren't people. These are individual people. This is not you. You are not suffering in this place. You're not going to work every day. I don't buy that. I think that's what the overarching theme of the show is, that you can't really separate yourself from yourself. That's what the bleed over is about. And every single character has this bleed over. And they're showing
Oh, I see. You're saying you can't keep them separate, as opposed to you can't get rid of the essence of you in the
you're
in the
you,
innie.
no matter what. No matter where you are.
So
Even
you're
if you
saying
don't
both.
remember, you're you. That's kind of the point of the letter. She remembered her childhood game with her sister, even though she wasn't supposed to be herself at that point.
But she's still that inner,
still
that
you.
child version, though. She said it felt like
but
it
you
was
still-
talking to
but
herself as
listen,
a kid.
You still going like it's the gospel truth that everything they say is factual. That's what I'm saying. Give them latitude to be misleading you. What I'm saying is it feels like all of this shit is trying to tell you in a kind of overt way, well, not really overt, kind of subtle way, in an overt type of fashion, which is fucking oxymoron. But anyway, they're trying to tell you that you cannot not be yourself. You're yourself no matter what.
Right.
There's no separation. That's what I'm saying. Like you, when you're quoting these things and you're talking about it, I'm hearing like you saying it like this is actually.
I'm just saying it because that's
This
what
is
we're
another
discussing.
person. That's not another person. That's still you. You at work. You just don't remember that shit right now.
But it's not
You know what I mean?
It's you, but it's like
That's what I just said. You saying it like it's true, and I'm telling you, I don't think
no.
it's true.
I'm
even in that
yeah,
world.
I agree. I understand what you're saying.
But the evidence, okay, but Helly is two seemingly completely different people.
because
No,
she doesn't
she's the
have the
same
memories
person.
of the
She
outside
just
version to get
she's
her to
very
the
same
mindset.
person. She just has two different motivations.
Right, because she doesn't have
She
her
even-
life
she even
experience.
So the happy ending here technically would be
If the Audis got out and kept,
No, if the innie got to be forever.
reintegration.
Oh yeah,
Reintegration is the
but it's not.
bringing together of
and
those
then
two
you learn,
things.
Oh,
and you
I
learn from
see.
the
You-
experience.
That's what
as
happened to
the
Petey,
ending.
and that's
As
why he
opposed
died.
to it just being like Severance is gone, it took both of them and jammed them back into one
and
brain.
made them one person. So you would
That's why he was
so
flashing.
You would then
Yeah.
remember everything that happened to you at work.
Right,
You would know that's what reintegration is.
right,
Right. So that would be like that working.
right. That's
would be
the
Mark
ideal
S gets to
scenario.
exist
Inside
and
Mark's
you know
outside,
like
yeah.
right, which was what he was before Severance.
But it would have changed him.
Fair enough.
And
I'm
it
just-
wasn't.
I just-
Well, it wasn't really though, because he's. I genuinely think the innies, they're them. If you could just wipe out literally everything they know about their life, that's made them into who they are. You're physically still you, and you're going to have the same general like thought processes, but only similar to you as a child. You as an adult, Dre, wouldn't have had everything that's taught you how to think.
No,
You know what I mean?
I'm going to say it very clear.
And I know we're just spitting
I'm
theories here. That's just my
100%
side of
on
it.
board with the theory of the severance. 100%. I understand completely what is being asserted.
Right.
What I'm saying to you is the backbeat. You know, right now you listening to the bass drum and the lead guitar. I'm talking about the backbeat, the hi-hat. Something back there is trying to tell you, hey, listen, they're not severed. They can't be separated. You are who you are all the time. Like the show, that's what I meant by overtly.
Well, yeah,
and
the
at the
we
same
are,
time
the
subtle.
you are.
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying the show is beating you over the head with this severed part, but subtly in the background saying, no, they're not severed. Here's a clue. That woman remembers. That one remembers. That one remembers. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's
It goes back to saying that the technology is imperfect.
it's so much. It's like they're saying to you, not here's a show about this company who's doing this thing and these people work there and this is what they experienced. It's like the show is saying, what if a company tried to separate people? How could it actually work? It's not so much asserting something as it is posing a question.
Correct.
And what I'm saying to you is, I think what they're saying right now, from what I've seen so far, is that the severance process not only is not perfect, but ideologically, what they're saying in a metaphysical kind of way is the message to the viewer is that you are who you are as a whole. The person, whether you're going to work, going to school, whatever it is, you are you. You are the whole of your experiences.
Right.
You can't separate that.
But you just said it, though. That's what makes the two people different, is the whole of their experiences.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, to me, I can't say
I don't understand
two
what
people.
the argument is.
Right, because
There's
we're
no
at
argument.
the same point,
No,
but I
there's no
just
argument.
take it
What
one
I'm
step
saying
further.
I'm saying, for me, I can't say two people. When I say Mark, I'm not saying Mark inside or Marky or, you know what I'm saying, like the
You don't want
Innie
to
Audi.
just
It's
differentiate
just
between
Mark.
Innie and
It's
Audi.
Mark when he go to work. You know, it's to me, because I think that's the overarching theme of the show is right now.
Yeah, I guess I'm not following what we're talking about then. I thought we were talking about the difference between what they are, but they're still the same them.
No.
But they're not the whole of their experiences.
No, I'm saying I'm not taking none of that as canon. I mean, even though it's supposed to be canon, I don't take it as the gospel truth. What I'm saying is, even if I'm looking at it, put it like this. If I'm looking at the Lord of the Rings, let's just take this out of there so you can kind of get my analogy.
Right.
If I'm looking at the Lord of the Rings and Sauron say, I'm going to chop Gandalf's head off on the most powerful wizard who ever lived or whatever, right? That's canonical that he said it, but that doesn't make it.
No,
the
I'm
gospel
not saying
truth.
that
right.
it's
So
true.
what I'm saying is,
All of this is speculation.
So what I'm saying is, when I'm watching, not just speculate, I'm talking about even watching the show. What I'm saying is, when you're looking at shit in the show, the shit that they saying in the show is a lie in that universe.
Right.
That's my point. So there's no severance.
I guess I don't follow why those 2 points are intertwined
Because what I'm trying to say is
they're not successfully completely keeping them separated. I agree.
You saying them, and that's my point. I don't think it's no them. I don't think it's a Mark.
No, I get your
outside of Mark
point.
inside. I think it's just one Mark.
You've made that point clear. You don't think they're two people. We're just disagreeing on that. That's all.
You actually think it's two people in the show?
I actually think that it's two people in the sense that a person is the whole of a collection of the whole of their life experiences. They don't have any when they're in there, so they're the version of themselves on the outside that doesn't know anything and hasn't been taught, hey, don't trust people because they'll stab you in the back. Or
there's two physical.
No, I don't think they're two physical marks.
I know nobody said that. I'm saying.
So I guess I'm not following.
I'm saying, but to me, because of the bleed through, is a clue that this is still just one person. That's all I'm saying. I'm just looking at the road that they paved.
I agree with you in the sense that it is one person, but the two personalities they've split are not the same. They can't be the same guy. Like if those two sat down and talked.
That's why I killed Petey because bringing those two personalities per se back
put
together.
Two heads or two people into one head. Think of it like Moon Knight. Man, that would be a great transition if we were doing that, wouldn't it?
Experiences just flushed into his Audi and it blew up his brain and he died.
It's like trying to shove two people into one body. Like two
I've been to those parties before.
Consciousnesses or whatever.
Wait, what? Oh no, listen, no, I get what you're saying. Trust me, I'm fully aware of what you're saying. What I'm saying is I don't think that's what
You're
the
skeptical.
show is.
I get it.
I'm saying I don't think that's what the show is trying to say. I think the show is giving a different message, and it's just subtle and it's in the background while they're pushing this whole idea of separating. And these are two different personalities in the same body, and these are two, and this person is the different whole of this experience. And this, I think subtly in the background, they still saying that this is one person yearning to know himself. It's the whole Matrix thing. It's what Neo was trying to find out about himself when he went to the Oracle the first time, and she told him to turn around and look at the sign, and the sign said, "Know thyself." It's all about.
I agree. I like what you said there. You said it's the innie trying to get to know, or it's that person trying to get to know themselves, and it is, but they're not able to just ask themselves the question as the innie because they're not the same person as they are outside.
I know. Look.
I feel like we're splitting hairs here.
I know I'm on board with it, but that's just, to me, that's my theory. That's the whole of my
cool.
theory.
I like that as a theory.
The whole of my theory is that they're never been separate. Is all I'm saying.
Not that it just wore off.
It's just like I said. That's why I did the thing with the phones. It's like if you take me right now, you take my brain, split it in half. I'm still me. It's just at one point I can only see this, and the other point I can only see that. But it doesn't separate me from me. It's me.
Well, then wouldn't that mean that like the Mark that's sitting there getting drunk would know something of the?
I think they're gonna start showing it. I think give them some time. They already showed. Irving.
It feels like 2 years after this one. Like, and Peggy was talking about she had been there for 2 years at Lumen. Mark has been there for about 2 years.
You know what
at
she
Lumen.
didn't comment on in the Lexington letters? I wish they did. Is she didn't say whether or not it was like crowded and shit. Like it was a lot.
She said she worked with three people.
She said
in
three
her
other
department.
people in macro data refinement, but she didn't say anything like coming into a big lobby and it's a shitload of people or something, or the parking lot. She had a hard time. I just a little clue.
Right.
As to like how hard it was to get into the lobby and go to work would have been dope as hell, because you would be able to say, okay, at one point they did have all this shit populated, because we was talking about it before, how it's like nobody in the town almost, and the parking lot almost always look empty and shit like that.
When did we start calling it social media? I mean, late 2000s, maybe? Like, I know Twitter existed and Facebook existed, but the actual term
like
social media.
It might have become popular.
Early 2010s, then maybe?
Social
11,
media. Yeah, somewhere in that little period.
2010.
So to me, that's that's the only thing we have in respect to a dating of this event. She mentioned social media and only having 16 followers on there, including her ex-husband on Facebook or whatever.
She made sure she pointed that out.
Right, but so to me, that dates it as within the last 10 years. So again, it kind of lends credence to they were updating the code detectors. So now they're looking for symbols as well as letters. You know what I mean? Like they probably started with, we don't want them to write a letter to their Audi.
I'm really not trying to be a dick, but everything you said, that you described, lends itself to the technology didn't work.
Yet.
I said I agree with your shit.
No, the thing we were just talking about.
I guess.
No.
I guess neither of us really were clear on what, because we basically agree.
I thought you were talking about the filter thing. You're not talking about the elevator code filter, right?
No, he's talking about what we were just talking about, that they're not really severed.
Right, and that's this still, and I told him I think I like his theory, because the whole idea that they're down there actively improving the system and refining data as they go.
Right, so he's just saying, to summarize your point,
to me, that makes sense.
It's mechanical failure. It's technology failure. It hasn't quite got there.
I still think they overlooked that, though. I wouldn't go with that. That's just me personally. I mean, listen, I just said I agree with what he's saying, but I also I feel like that's, I feel like it could have been something more creative, a way to get that, but
So the thing at the end, they mentioned, well, maybe not at the end, but just something I wrote down at the end here. Remember those protocols that we saw from last episode? Last episode of thing where it was like beehive, branch transfer,
the
clean slate
protocols. Yeah.
Yes, clean slate, elephant, freeze frame, Glasgow.
Excuse me.
If somebody is already chipped, if they're already an innie, like let's say that Gemma was, I'm just throwing this shit out there. Let's say Gemma was already working for Lumen.
I was saying at the beginning of the podcast.
Exactly. So she's already working for Lumen, so she's chipped. But then she decides maybe she doesn't want to work there anymore or something, and then she's driving, and they literally just hit freeze frame.
Right. No, yeah, I think that's totally plausible.
Or
And then-
literally just
and
turn
then
on
they
the
just-
overtime
and then
contingency.
they keep her innie all the time, and
Right.
they just turn her off, and then she doesn't have an outie.
Right.
The outie is dead per se,
Right.
Which means you
but
just
still exists because they.
which
In
means you
my
just can't
in my
quit at
theory,
all.
they have to hold onto that other side for there to be. Even those limited experiences come from somewhere, even as basic as they are.
Right.
They have to be cultivated from the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
From that specific person. It's not like they can have a master file they just download to each person as an any. It has to be pulled from their life experiences.
Why?
Because
I
of how
like
they,
where you're going.
because
with
of the, how they had, because of people talk the way they talk, people walk the way they walk, people use their hands in certain ways because of the way they grew up, because of the way they saw their mom grab a certain thing.
Right.
You know how you flush the toilet, how you use the bathroom, to go back to a conversation that we just fucking had. You get these things,
Right.
you pick up these things from life experiences. You still have to know how to use the bathroom. That had to
Right.
come from somewhere. That didn't come from a master file. That came from your life experiences, your parents teaching you that.
Right.
Even though they took away your parents, they still left that
that
thing
aspect
that you
of it,
learn.
the basic motor functions. Yeah.
Right. But still, like, dude, if you were born in a world where you were kept in a cave and were never taught what a toilet was and how to use the bathroom,
Right.
you would have absolutely no fucking idea what it is.
Right.
So that
They should have had a
they
3
had to have
seashell
that.
moment.
You have to have the whole thing to make the innie.
Worked, yeah.
So on the chip, it
Right.
has to have stored, even if that person dies, that
Do you think that-
memories.
you
Gemma's outie still exists on her chip is basically what I'm saying.
Okay. Because I was just thinking about the chip, and is it that, or is it a device that? Well, because they said this is PD on the chip. She did say that. Because I was going to say, as far
She's
as we
wearing
know,
him
the chip
around
is
his-
just something that sends an electrical impulse that they've figured out how to shut
I
down
think
things.
it's
You know
more
what I mean?
than that. They're downloading their consciousness, and that part there's more to it than just that.
So do you think if they were able to remove the thing, that Audi Mark would be the only thing that existed?
If they were able to remove the chip, yes. In my theory, my
You just
speculation
remain
that
as
I'm
people,
saying,
as regular
yes, you would just
because there'd be no
but-
reintegration.
But as a fucking human being, you would not want to just, if you were any kind of a fucking person, you would not want to just end that your any self,
Right,
just
but-
unless you're just a like oh, that doesn't matter, and you're like I need to
But
leave this
everybody feels that way until they find out what's going on in there,
right.
which is with that 2-year mark, which is what I'm saying. Like, Mark's been in there 2 years.
So it starts
Peggy
to
was
wear
in-
off, and the shit starts to bleed in.
Well, no, not even that. Just that eventually, that's probably why there's only 4 people in there still. Eventually, the shit just doesn't sustain because they start to get too curious, and then they work around the system, and then they have to keep putting it. It's like they literally did it in this show. They put the door on the room. They keep upping the security. They keep trying to stop things that are
yes.
happening that shouldn't be.
It lends credence to what I'm getting at is that they can't refine it. I'm sorry. They can't refine it far enough. They can't take away that
That instinct,
curiosity, the
yeah.
instinct to be like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Right.
You know what you just said?
You
is
know what I'm saying?
curiosity. His was funny about the Lexington letter. They left a clue as to why she has an inquisitive personality. She likes spy novels.
Yeah.
That's like, it's right in her alley to be the type of person who would like, and that's exactly what you're saying. Like
It comes
that bleed
it
over
comes
is there.
from childhood. That interest in spy
Inquisitiveness,
novels
yeah.
came from somewhere.
Right.
That it is only personal to you.
Right.
There's only the reason that you're into spy novels is completely fucking personal to you. You don't know, nobody else really knows that. So when they they can't completely go that away. So that inquisitive personality that comes from
The
liking
thing
spy
that you
novels,
liked, the thing that made you like
they
them to
can't
begin with,
shut
still
that off,
remains.
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So like it's bleeding over, and that's what makes Helly fucking
So adamant that she-
about like so rebellious in a way.
And
Like,
she said it.
right.
She even left a clue to that. When she was
Right.
going into orientation, she
I
said,
really like.
She said, "I'm sorry if I give you guys a lot of trouble." She
Right.
knows her personality is one
Right.
that is
gonna be
gonna get
stubborn.
outta
rebellious,
here.
and I'm gonna
get the fuck
right.
out of here, bro.
And I'm gonna
Like,
organize
shit.
people with me
Yeah,
to help me do it. It's very, very.
it's a dope show, man. And like I said, it reminds me so much of, like I said, the allegory of the cave, and thusly the
Once you
Matrix.
explained that, it was totally related
Yeah.
to
Right.
what we were saying.
And that's what I'm
Very
saying. And like when you talking about the Matrix, when Neo asks why didn't he remember, I think he said he was the one, and the Oracle wouldn't tell him.
So that's his Lost. I'm just getting it. I don't know why that just clicked in my head. Sorry,
What you
continue.
mean?
The Matrix.
No, I just like all stuff. I like a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
the
stuff.
Matrix is the one you reference the most. That's your Lost.
Yeah, well, that one crosses a lot of borders when it comes to overarching themes.
Right.
So yeah, I guess, but it's not my loss. I don't think it's
That's not
I
your
think
one
it's-
of your
I
favorite
think-
properties.
I think, it was until this last one. This last movie was terrible. But don't let me lose my point. My point was when Neo, let's see, now my wife is calling. When Neo says to the Oracle, why didn't you tell me? You know, why did you give me all the extra stuff? She said you wasn't ready. And he was like, how do you know? Or who told you I wasn't ready? Or whatever. I can't remember the exact phrasing. And she was like, you did. You have to decide when you're ready to know who you are. You have to decide when you're ready to know yourself. I'm telling you, I see the
Yeah,
the
it took
themes.
for Irving. It took Bert
I
being
see all these
retired
themes.
and
All of this is this right here. It's
Dylan
like
with his kids, and then Helly with I can't remember what Helly's was. Oh, it was seeing that video where Helly Audi Helly told her you're not a person, and then Mark just what was Mark's tipping point? I can't remember why any Mark got to the point of wanting to take the place down.
Wait, what?
Because we were saying that I think it's last week that everybody had a reason finally to like turn.
Like you
turn.
said, to want
Ellie
to know
was
who they
just-
really are. To
Ellie
want
was
You said
just
Mark
rebellious.
said- I thought Mark. I don't remember Mark saying he wanted to burn the place.
no,
down.
they were all in agreement. Like
Right when he said that, they went around the room and everybody like nodded. All right, like we're gonna come up with a plan. to
Irving
do
said
this.
that. 'Cause
Right,
after
but
they
Irving said,
retired
okay,
Bert.
because I'm
I was just trying to figure what got
Dylan
Mark
found
to
his
that
kid.
point.
Irving has Bert.
Helly was
is
told she's not human.
Right.
I hate to steal somebody else's shit, but this is what it is. No, I'm not gonna say this guy's phrase because I don't like his YouTube channel no more. But anyway, Mark is he's all in with the plan because he likes Helly.
I mean, that's got to
Any
be
Mark,
that's
if-
got to be a
if we're
very
still doing
interesting
the separate the
concept now
separation
because
thing.
she kissed him before they went and did the Audi thing where they went into their Audi.
Mm-hmm.
But now any Mark is aware of his wife's existence, his dead wife's existence at the company. So now there's that: does he love her or does he actually
Well-
love Helly? Because he doesn't know Gemma.
Gemma.
So
Yeah,
like,
well-
why would we would be rooting for him and Helly, and rooting for Audi Mark and Gemma?
That's where the conundrum comes in, is if
I
they
think
do
what-
figure out how to reintegrate them and both of those people become one person with all of this, like they have all of the, each memories both exist in the same
Right.
place successfully, and they
Who
somehow
are they
successfully
into?
get Gemma out, which one does he pick, you know?
Right.
I'm pointing,
becomes
I'm pointing
Big
on the screen,
Love.
but I'm actually
You did a
pointing at
Wiley. What's the little dude with the mustache?
Yosemite
Wiley,
Sam.
Yeah, I thought it was Wiley Coyote. Yeah, it was Yosemite Sam. Wiley Coyote is the coyote.
Yeah, it just becomes the show just becomes Big Love at that point, and then
But here's the thing about
Wiley
your
Coyote.
it's Wiley. Yeah, I say Wiley Coyote. This is shorthand. Listen, here's the thing about your concern about them integrating all the movies because they don't live in a some kind of spatial. I think Petey got killed. I am on record with saying this, so this is not inconsistent with what I said.
they could have hit any one of
No,
these
here-
protocols.
here-
Oh no,
here what I'm saying.
he didn't have the. Oh no, he did have the chip.
But here what I'm saying.
But she
Hold on.
disabled it.
Y'all gonna kill my thing. I'm telling. But what I'm saying
Wait,
is,
don't kill us then.
just going back. I want to make sure you understand that I'm being consistent. I said in a previous episode, Petey was killed. I don't think that happened from reintegration. And what I was saying was in concern of your.
You don't think Petey was killed?
I think
No,
Petey
he
was
was
killed.
killed.
I don't
Doesn't think
think
he was
he
killed
died
because of
from
reintegration.
the reintegration.
Okay.
I think he was killed. And remember, I talked about how they was talking about it with the board. They was dealing with the Petey situation right then and there because this is a guy who had information. He was there and he had both sets of memories, and he can go out and spread that information. He was killed, and
But why did they wait?
But hold on, wait.
It's a fair question.
I know it's a fair question, but it's besides the
he
point
was
of what
right.
I'm going to right now.
Okay.
What I was saying is your concern about reintegration with memories causing
stuff
to be a
that we
problem.
saw happening to him.
This is not two different whole lives. I don't think the reintegration would hurt them like this. It's not like you had 24 hours in a day and then you had to just stuff another 24 in there. You understand what I'm saying? You still, it's just.
Yeah, but Petey was with the company for the longest at that point.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that he died because of the reintegration. I think his reintegration wasn't even supposed to be that bad. He even said it himself. The chick told me to post up and chill, and I would
he
be
didn't
fine.
follow the instructions.
I didn't follow the
When
instructions.
She said if he'd have followed the post up,
If he'd have right,
But wait, doesn't that
she could still be lying. Like I said, in the universe,
but
a
doesn't
person
that
could
make
be
the
lying.
opposite point you were making? Because then that would mean he did die from
No,
reintegration
what
because he
I'm
didn't
just
follow
saying,
the
covering
procedure.
all the bases. I don't think he died from the reintegration process. Him dying is not the thing I was addressing with him not following instructions. Him not following instructions is why he was having a hard time with the memories flashing in and out. With him not being able to tell the inside from the outside, like Irving walking behind him and shit like that. Those episodes came from him not listening to the chick. That's what I was saying with that. Him dying, they hit a switch. They killed his ass.
But again, it comes back to my question of why wouldn't they do that immediately?
I don't
after he
know.
quit?
I can't answer that question.
Because they even didn't Cobell even ask, "Have you seen PD?" or like
maybe
similar to
Cobell was
Mark?
on the job to kill Petey, and she likes to hesitate like she did at the party.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, someone's
Maybe
gonna
that's
have to
her
explain
personality.
her.
no, I'm saying that okay.
It's just a personality trait.
That's her personality.
We ask the question, we get to talk to the creators, and they say that. Oh no, she just likes to think her things through for 15 minutes exactly.
I think if you went back and listened to maybe our first episode on Severance, because it would have been because PD died in the end of the third episode, correct?
Probably. I don't think we were saying he died from
No.
reintegration.
No,
Hold on,
wait,
hold on,
just
go
listen.
to your
Let
point.
me
Sorry,
think.
sorry.
Like,
Go ahead. Yeah.
God damn it. He I said that somewhere along the way they were looking for his signal. And him not following the instructions allowed that signal to reactivate, and he was dipping in and out, and then they were like, oh, there it is, and then they hit the switch, like you said.
Okay, I like that.
I'm pretty sure I said that exact thing almost. That
We were talking about them switching him off.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know
that
about
makes
the switch
sense.
at that point because I had not seen further into the show than
Right.
episode
Right.
3.
Well, that kinda
I'm
makes
saying,
sense.
I was just saying they were like,
Getting in range,
they
of
were
it,
like,
so to speak.
like they were, we can't find Petey. We're into the situation. We're looking into it, and finally, oh, here it is, signal. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, this dumbass is hiding.
Here's
in
signal.
the,
Oh shit, here it's over here. It's gone.
He's
You know, I'm
hiding
just
in the
saying, like,
convenience
and they were
store
like,
3 blocks from
we
the
have
job.
we have his signal. They're like, do it now, and they switch him out and they killed him there. So
Right.
that could be true. I think myself, in my own opinion, I think he died from the memories being crammed back together and him not following the instructions. I think she severed their connection when she did her surgery or whatever,
From
the reintegration
Flumen?
surgery. She took away their ability to do that,
If
unless she
I'm-
didn't quite get it. And
If I'm trying to remember, I'm trying to
first thing I said
remember
is true,
correctly. She
that they
said
found his signal for long enough to be able to switch him off.
she
Which
said
is
that
also
she
possible.
used to, she was. I'm just trying to remember because it's been a second since I
Right.
watched that episode. She said that she worked at Lumen and she was the one doing the.
She was
severance
the one
process.
doing the process.
So she would know how to sever the thing.
right.
So if we're going off of that, then we have to assume, we don't have to. I feel like
We can logically assume.
we could logically assume that she was right in her confidence that his whole situation with him not looking so good and going through the shit when Mark was talking about him was because he didn't listen to her thing. Now you're asserting that he died because of that.
No, he was asserting
You're
that
asserting that he died because he didn't follow it, and then a reintegration process.
So you're
killed him.
saying that, like, okay, here, just follow me. That at the end where Petey dying and they're flashing back and forth between Mark going up in the elevator and Petey dying, right? That it was physically related. Those two things happening, Mark going up in the elevator and switching back to Mark, regular Mark, and that was all happening at the same time. It wasn't just cool camera
I
work.
thought that was cool camera work.
That's what I
didn't
thought it
think
was.
that had
too.
anything
I didn't
to do
think
with
it
each
has
other.
anything to do with each other.
No.
So I'm saying that's where I'm saying that Petey just died there of reintegration sickness. He couldn't. His brain couldn't handle
Yeah,
it.
he said he was the
didn't
first
follow.
one with it, and he
didn't
didn't
follow
her
her instructions.
So do you think if he had followed her instructions that it feels like that personality clash was going to happen either way, but maybe the like lay low meant so that it can't really impact other people around you.
Maybe
or...
she's the only one maybe qualified. She was the only one qualified. Maybe he like ran away from her. Maybe she was the only one qualified to
So that means
mentally
administer
help
some
him,
drugs or
help him
something to
through
help
it.
him.
So that's gonna be a callback to PD's reintegration sickness. I'm thinking like mid season 2, and we're gonna see Mark reintegrating with himself, or maybe even Helly reintegrating and arguing with herself in the mirror
me,
and shit like that.
I think that's the only logical way to be like for both of these. Because I don't want it to spawn off into like an argument of being like more than like two beings to come together as one being and live on their life.
I want to be an asshole right now so bad because he's trying so hard not to avoid this. I wanted to be like, they're not too big. I'll just fucking.
But
Oh my
mentally, they are.
Right.
Right. And yes, at first it worked. Slowly over time, it doesn't. Shit starts to bleed through, and they become one person again.
Or they just get
but
inquisitive as
still,
well.
they still had two different sets of experiences.
Right. The one has the whole life, and the other one has I woke up in this elevator.
Well, the one has
Or
the
on
whole life
table.
minus.
Hey, let me
the
ask you a
shit
question.
That's happening at Severance.
Let me ask
at
you a
work.
question real quick.
Yeah.
Their whole life minus
Minus what they're.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even
Right.
think of
Let
that.
me ask you a question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had, well, you both are adult males with wives. So have your wife ever told you like you was talking in your sleep or something?
No, I've heard
Mumbling
my
or
wife
trying-
talk in her sleep.
Okay, have your wife ever told you, or a past girlfriend or something ever said to you, I had a conversation with you when I came in the house? Like say for instance your wife get off work late or some shit, she walk in the house, she talking to you, and you have a whole conversation with her, and then in the morning you don't remember that shit at
Yes.
all. You asleep.
It's happened.
Okay, is that person that talked to your wife a different person from you? I'm being a dick, but I just think you don't even have to answer it. I'm
Yeah,
just
because I remember that they happened. Because in the moment, I'm conscious enough to go, she's talking to me. I'm
no,
choosing
but
to go
that's not
back
what
to
I just
sleep
said.
right
I
now,
said-
and I'm mumbling shit back at her.
There's like
I
You
remember-
moved
the next-
the
recently, my-
goalpost. I just said. when
Well, then
you
no
don't
is my
remember,
answer. I
when
don't-
You don't
no.
remember.
This just happened to me recently, where like I went downstairs and went to sleep, and Jenna came downstairs and told me that something had happened.
Right.
It was something with the dogs, like one of the dogs like shit or chewed something up or something
Right.
upstairs,
Or
and
chewed up
I
shit.
like acknowledged it, and I went right back to sleep.
Right.
I didn't.
Hey,
get
look,
up and
he
take
was
care
like,
of it.
"Yep."
So it was but the next morning, and when I woke up, I did not remember that at all until she reminded me that I said, I came downstairs and told you that. And then I remembered
Right.
vaguely waking up and having the conversation. I did not remember until she reminded me.
And remember what I
Right.
just told you yesterday about
So
my wife.
technically, no, I would not be a different
But
person. It was just-
remember this shit I
yeah.
just told you about my wife when she said I had the gray jean shorts.
Right.
And I went and we had this whole fucking argument, Joe. And I was dead serious. Like, you can't tell me about the goddamn clothes that I wear. I know for a fact I don't wear jean shorts, and I don't have no goddamn gray jean shorts. I was very upset. I was like, I can't believe this woman is implying that I, a fashion icon, will wear gray jean shorts. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this
No,
is.
you lost me on the fashion icon part, but I'm understanding the
You
rest of
know
it.
what I'm
He's a
talking
fashion
about.
icon in the same sense that you're a fashion icon
Right.
to your fucking self.
But what I'm saying is, you know,
Same goes for me. It's
I
all
know
right.
for a fact at that moment, that those jean shorts didn't exist. I have a pair of gray jean shorts that she had described perfectly, and they're one of my favorite pair of shorts. Not just a pair that I have. They're the ones I find very
Right, but
comfortable.
in your head, you never
But
described
at
them
that
as gray,
point,
gray.
In my
jean shorts.
head, when I thought jean shorts, I thought the big, you know what I'm saying, you at an Insane Clown Posse concert with the big ass jean
Jinkos,
shorts,
yeah.
right? You know what I'm saying? So in my head, these are not gray jean shorts. She don't know what the fuck she talking about. But like realistically, I had separated those things in my head. You know what I'm saying? I really couldn't see myself in that image of the person that we was talking about that started the whole conversation. I saw an older guy with some big dumbass jean shorts. And she was like, "You got some jean shorts just like that." And I was like, "Bitch, I ain't got no damn jean shorts like that." You know what I'm saying? Like
That's just life experience.
No, but what I'm saying is,
dripping away, and you remember it when somebody.
But what I'm saying is, all of those things still are me. It's just that sometimes there's a separation that I think there's deeper. I think there's deeper themes to be explored here, and I don't want to go.
Is that is voluntarily happening to you
because I'm an
mechanically?
asshole.
No, I'm saying that you're saying that's happening naturally. Blah blah
Right.
blah. This is happening to you. You're having a thing drilled in the back of your head, and then another person on the other end of a computer in macro data refinement is fucking searching through all of those numbers and taking those things away.
No, I still like that theory. I think that's the dopest
That's
theory.
my
I
theory.
think that's the
like
closest
terms. Is they're just
out of
taking it
all.
away.
I don't even remember what you asserted at all. Honestly, I'm not even trying to be a dick. What your theory of what's going on in the show, but I think his is the closest we got.
The one that I
most sense
stumbled
to me.
into was the bleed over with with Irving. We were talking about the black ooze, and he's doing the painting with the black, and he's painting that thing obsessively, and he keeps coming into work tired. I think he accidentally fell asleep one time, and then it bled through to the outside.
You think he's actually purposefully?
I want to go back and listen to the episode to make sure that you're the one that stumbled into it.
Okay.
He's like, okay, like, all right.
Yeah. No, I'm not worried about that.
I'm just being a dick because I feel like I was saying that.
I
we were
think-
talking.
And then we were
about
just,
it.
and then we
Honestly,
like started
I think,
talking
I
about.
think Joel said that.
I'm just being a
Because
dick.
most episodes, Jeremy, you sit back and look like you want to kill us both. Like me and Joel is like talking, and you.
Not untrue.
He's always sitting back, like I think I could get them both if
he
I go
goes.
fast enough.
Making a really loose reference to another movie.
Right.
What other movie?
Here goes Joel making another roster reference.
Oh, okay.
Talking about wrestling. Oh.
Yes.
All right, but yeah, all right.
We
So,
really
I think we've learned over the course of this that Dre and I categorically disagree on whether they're separate personalities or not. Like I understand the points you're making and I see where you're coming from, but I definitely think that what you were saying about them having to shove both of those back into one. Just think about the fact that, like, say you're just filling back in a puzzle piece.
To me, they're just
every
two
day
different sets of experiences.
Every day there's 3 pieces of a puzzle, and you take one away every day. If you have to eventually put that back in, the picture on that puzzle isn't going to match what the other 2 pieces were. Does that make sense? I'm trying to use an analogy here. I'm
Yeah.
just
No.
bringing
Exactly.
it.
Like you. Like I said.
The picture wouldn't be right.
As an innie and an
Does that
outie
make sense at all?
separated. Like you are. You said you're not a whole person.
I'm not saying you agree with it. I'm saying, does that analogy make any sense? Like, you have 3 puzzle pieces a day, 3 8-hour blocks that you can do whatever you want with. One is going to be work, one's going to be leisure, and one's going to be sleep. So this one is taken out every day and given its own picture each time. So when you try to put them back in, they're not going to match.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Did you ever watch WandaVision?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You watched WandaVision, so you remember the Vision showdown, the philosophical showdown at the library with Vision talking about.
Just tell me what it is.
The ship.
I'm sure I do, but
talking about the ship. I don't know if this is the right reference, but I think it's the ship of Theseus, where he's talking about how the ship was replaced with each piece of wood being replaced over and over again.
Is it the same ship?
It now is. After you replaced every piece, is it the same ship or is it a new ship? Is the old pieces of wood the ship? Vision didn't know who you. These are overarching themes in all of these pieces of media. It's almost like the universe is secretly trying to talk to us individually to tell us to get to know who we are as people.
But wait, so what's the connection there? I'm trying to follow your point.
The connection is Vision was
puzzle
having a
thing,
clash with the other Vision because he didn't know which one was the real him. One of them was a mirror of the other one without the memories and the trauma and all this other one. And the other one was completely made up in this false reality within the confines of this place. They didn't know which one was which.
Okay.
Are we both Vision? Are we half Visions without each other? It's all the same philosophical.
He presented a story that like there was this old ship.
No, I completely understand
he
that.
got that part.
You
And
just
what
keep,
I'm saying
I got to replace this, I got to replace
and
that.
what I'm saying is,
And then by the time you replace the last old
the shape
piece,
of it is essentially this. It's the same thing, but it's different.
but it's
new.
not. It's new, right?
Right.
But that's the like.
But how does that relate to
what
this?
relates to
what we're
this
talking
is
about?
what I'm saying is the copy. In this scenario, the copy of the thing would be the any, and you're going at it as these are different.
But it's
things.
not a
Well, what I'm
copy,
saying-
though.
Listen, don't lose the analogy.
No, you're
What I'm
making.
telling you, I'm trying to
that
tell you.
point
Wait,
isn't
stop.
valid.
Listen, no, go ahead, finish because
They're all the same story. This
they're
is what I'm saying. Look, all right, look, I'm gonna insert this and I'm gonna leave it at that. These are all the exact
I'll give you
same
time for
stories.
rebuttal.
These are all the same stories. It's about integrating with your other self. The Matrix did it. Vision did it for like 5 minutes in the library at the end of WandaVision. They do this story over and over again. This is me, but this is also me. They even do it in action movies when the hero decides that he's not going the way of the gun anymore. He's gonna raise a family, but now that old part of him has to come back. And how can he integrate that to make him a whole person and a better father and a provider for his kids? He has to bring the old part of himself back. You cannot separate from who you are. This is what the whole thing is about. We're gonna get there. Some of y'all might take to get to season 5 and 6 to get there, but I'm telling you, remember this.
I mean, Jeremy straight up said that the perfect end scenario is reintegration.
Reintegration.
So we're on the same page, but there's different subtle differences.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna use the analogy as a ship. I'm gonna use the same
back to
thing.
the ship.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the ship. You're saying that the pieces are the same. Going back, with the ship theory is if I take the old piece out and I put the same shaped piece back in, what we're saying is that piece is completely fucking different shaped. It doesn't fit because that was a completely different experience that this other being had. So that ship's gonna sink. What happened to Petey?
Right. When you start trying to put the pieces back together, they don't fit.
They don't fit. So what we're saying is that they had to figure out how to way to make it work with both of those beings, with both of those sets of experiences
Which
coming together.
lends credence to their two separate things.
Right. Which is why William Money died at the end of Unforgiven.
God, this is fucking great.
Yeah, I don't know what.
No,
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
shout out.
I was just saying this, like the
Shout
whole
out
like
to Ben
show
Stiller
and
for finding this show, producing it, bringing it to the masses. Shout out to the
my
man.
brain is going wild.
You have a piece of.
I was worried we
You
weren't going to
have-
have anything to talk
You
about.
have a piece of like popular media right now in 2022 that has 3 dudes in their 40s sitting on the internet talking about philosophy without even really realizing it.
Right.
You're having a philosophical argument
It's really cool.
right now without having to use all the words and all the snootiness.
That's why the shows
We
that
don't need
sneak
the
that
wo-
in are the best
The
ones.
show is awesome. We love it.
That's
Give
why
us more.
this whole conversation just made me like
That's-
it more because it wasn't. I mean, come on, we didn't even really discuss a whole lot of direct scenes from the show right now. It was just more of the overall
Right.
like philosophy of it, and I
And
really
for the
like
people
it.
that's watching
It's like
the
Game
chat,
of
like
Thrones
this, share the broadcast.
It's like Game of
share it
Thrones
with
or
your
Lost.
peoples.
You know what I mean? Like
Throw it on
you're
Facebook.
talking about stuff that's happening in the show, and you're not realizing that it's, or you do realize
It's really
eventually.
cool.
But
I really
where
liked
it's-
that ship analogy. That
Yeah.
was neat.
Get
Like,
more
I was
people-
really excited about it. I was
Get
like,
more
the pieces don't
people
fit.
to watch this
That was
show.
the puzzle. That was what I was
We are
trying to
talking-
say.
Exactly. It was exactly along
But
the lines of that.
here's the thing about the
But
difference.
mine, the puzzle didn't change shape, just the picture on it that
I'm
went back
plugging the
into it.
show. And here's the
In the
difference.
middle of it?
Yes, because I
still-
gotta go home. Here's the thing and the difference between us.
here's
and
Dre's
here's the difference between us and those other shows. You have shows that do breakdowns of these TV shows and all this stuff on YouTube and whatever the podcast, and they do all these big fancy. We literally just had 3 different philosophical viewpoints argued and button heads with each other in a very fun way without having to be pretentious and know all the words for all the philosophical viewpoints and the different authors that we need.
There was
I don't
one
know,
of
man.
us
It's
that
a
was-
bit
so it's-
dour.
So yeah,
was
so
throwing around
and
some
look,
words
and that
today.
was right on the point of what I said at the beginning of the show. The words don't matter; they're
Maniacal,
intelligent.
maniacal, what did he say?
The intelligence matter.
Canonical? What were you saying?
The intelligence matters, and we are 3 intelligent people talking about TV shows. We don't care about the pretense.
Intelligence and grammar matter.
No,
I
they
agree.
really don't, because clearly we just showed you they don't.
You said canonical.
Did
more
I
than
say
once.
canonical? Canonical is a fucking word.
I didn't say it wasn't. It's a pretentious word.
It is. I have pretense.
I know. I think I said it was it was in canon. I don't remember saying canonical.
Anyway, all right, fellas. Joe, take us out of here, man. I gotta go. My wife is gonna be very angry at me. He gonna ask another question.
On that,
I saw
okay.
him
So
scroll.
Jeremy, you want to do Moon Knight now for the
I
next?
saw a scroll. I was like,
No, I was honestly just making sure there wasn't anything that was super important.
we need to figure out what that.
Did they
NA
ever
means.
say the date that Gemma died? Because I felt like it was one of these same dates that they mentioned in this
Did they say
Lexington
any
letter.
dates?
Like November 3rd, November
They only
11th.
said
I for some reason that
listen,
sounded familiar
we got
when
a
they
couple
said
weeks
it.
Before a new show come out, I might do a whole series, a whole season rewatch.
And we could read the handbook and see if there's anything in there. I
Yeah,
mean,
why not?
it's not like we couldn't do this again for another 2 hours. It's
Yeah, we definitely can, but I gotta go. Sorry, I don't want to be coarse.
No.
Wait, I gotta.
I mean, like next week, we were saying we could do it again for another 2 hours.
We have to do it quick though, because I gotta leave the country, because I won't be able to do the following week.
Tune in next week for How to Watch TV with just me.
Oh no!
This is how to watch TV.
Oh yeah, Jeremy too.
Damn,
What an asshole.
just kicked him smooth.
I thought you both bailed out. I'm like, okay, well, fuck it. It's